This is the Vaguely Nerdy Podcast, where every week this brother-sister duo gets together to discuss the box office, latest film and TV scoops, along with our latest movie or show review, and what we're getting into next. We're your host, Cheryl.
And Jay.
Okay, so this week we are going over The Woman in the Yard. I really forgot. We're also going to chat about Severance. So it's not like a full Severance review, but it's kind of like a twofer, just a little bit. But anywho, Jay is on deck for trivia that he had a really hard time finding. So what you got?
Okay, so this is trivia for The Woman in the Yard, which didn't have very much trivia, so it's not going to be Woman in the Yard trivia.
Okay,
it's
Jason.
Going to be trivia about Akwi Akpakwasili. I think that is how you don't pronounce that name. I probably just butchered that name.
You did better than me.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to just call her by first name, Akwi. So this actress plays the woman in the yard in this film, The Woman in the Yard. This is not her first foray into freaky horror spooky tales.
Oh.
You know her previously from Agatha All Alone. We just saw her in The Woman in the Yard.
Yes.
She also had a role in a legacy sequel to a very, very legendary horror franchise.
Okay.
What movie that just recently came out? Can you guess the franchise or the movie that just came out? They both had the same name.
Franchise. Saw?
No. More legendary. Older.
Halloween?
Older.
Oh. That just had something come out.
Yes. They just had a legacy sequel come out. Legacy sequel means it's a sequel to the original, not the sequel to all the sequels that came after that.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Is it something I've seen?
No. It's not something you would watch, but you know of its
but I know of it
because of its iconic status.
The Shine. Stephen King.
You're close, but no.
Oh, okay. I thought I was on the money.
You're close. You're close in like era, kind of.
Okay. Legacy. Super horror?
Probably older than
both of us.
The Shining. Definitely older than both of us.
Okay.
Iconic deals.
Psycho.
In religion. Includes ghouls.
The not the with the priest. Possession. The Exorcist.
Yes.
It was getting there. I just had to like get it all out to see what was she in.
So she was in The Exorcist, Believer. Which was the sequel that had Leslie Odom Jr. that just came out in, I think, in like 2003.
It was definitely a COVID movie, I think.
Yeah.
Who was she in it?
She played Dr. Bahibe, or Bahib, and that was a witch doctor, which is usually referenced in all the exorcism possession movies.
Okay. Good for Well, I mean,
she's at other movies outside of those three, but
right?
She's very familiar with horror, so.
I could tell that.
Yeah.
I could see she was very comfortable in this role.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Good for her. Good for her. And good for me for getting that right because you thought I wasn't going to get it.
I didn't.
I just had to think you were gonna get
I had
to do my word salad like aloud and then it finally came to me. So, cool.
All right. So, that is the trivia for this week. Let's get into the rest of the episode. Welcome, fellow movie buffs. I'm Jay.
I'm Cheryl.
Listen in as we break down movie and TV shows, tell you what's in the plot, and hear if we think you should have watched it when you had the chance.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so we have a lot to talk about one topic in the movie news announcements, something that happened this week. We got a couple cars in trailer park. And then we have a little sizable bites of Buncha Crunch. So let's start off at the top with the biggest news of the week, which was a 5.5 hour long live stream from Marvel revealing the Avengers Doomsday cast.
Yeah.
Now what's funny about this is I sent you a text that had a screenshot that had a chair that just said Chris Hemsworth on it.
Yes.
For Marvel. And I was like, what is this? And then another chair said Vanessa Kirby. And I was like, excuse me, what's going on? Now, you was at work. And you couldn't respond fast enough. And I'm like freaking out. Like, what's going on? So it was basically Marvel. And they did it on Twitter, YouTube, and IG. It was a live stream.
Yeah.
And every 15 minutes, they would put out a chair, like an actor's chair with their name on the back, telling us who was going to be in the movie. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm not watching this whole thing. This is ridiculous.
Exactly what I said.
I watched probably a good 3.5 hours.
I did not. Not only was I actually busy at work.
You were.
Which isn't typical. But
right.
I wasn't about to have them hold my anticipation for 5.5 hours.
I did it. I was
just like sitting on the edge of my seat.
Torture.
I don't deal with anxiety well. So
and it was very anxiety-inducing because what they would do is it would be like this very low humming, unassuming music through most of it. And then when they moved from chair to chair every 12 to 15 minutes, it would be a theme song of whoever. So they would like play it for a couple of seconds and you'd be like, who is it? I can't guess who it is. Some of them are obvious. Like, we'll get to some of the Some of the themes were very obvious. And then some of them I was like, I have no idea. And then they would slowly pan the camera and you'd be like, oh, that's who it is. And then the music would go back to whatever it was before. And it would just be up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Only Marvel could do something like this.
So it was a very fun event.
It was.
To watch on Twitter.
It was trending all day.
It was trending all day.
All day the next day.
I think it dispelled and Marvel is dead rumors. Which weren't actually rumors because rumors have to have like some amount of merit.
Right. I think at one point 10 million people were watching on just YouTube. Like the live stream, and the numbers were going up as the stream went along. So instead of like people falling off, more people was joining in.
Yeah,
it's pretty. Nobody. It had to be the cheapest marketing thing they've ever done. That's been the most effective. Nobody else is going to be able to replicate this.
So who was announced?
27 people, and I have a list.
Okay,
we're gonna read down all 27 because I mean, why not? And this is the order in which they was revealed. Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Vanessa Kirby as Invisible Woman. Now, why do they not just call her Sue? Why do people just not call her Sue?
What do you mean? That's her superhero name.
Oh, could be going by superhero names.
Yes,
I sound like I'm Doctor
names.
Strange. I'm like, whatever. Anthony Mackie is Captain America. Sebastian Stan is Bucky. Letitia White is coming back as Black Panther. Paul Rudd is Ant-Man. Wyatt Russell as U.S. Agent. Tanak Hareta. How you say his name?
Hold on.
Namor is back. Ebon Moss Baccarat is back as the Thing. Simu Liu, which I was kind of surprised to see.
I'm sure he was too.
We was all like, where's been Shang-Chi?
He's always talking about they not doing anything with Shang-Chi. So now I wonder if this was a surprise to him, or if he's just a big fat liar.
I have a thing.
A lot of them are.
I'm going to say something once we get down to all these 27.
8 liars.
There's a lot of liars in here. Shang-Chi is back. Florence Pugh is back as Yelena. Kelsey Grammer is back as the Beast. Another surprise. Louis Pullman is back as Sentry. Dana Ramirez is back as the Falcon. Joseph Quinn, Human Torch. David Harbour playing Red Guardian. Winston Duke as M'Baku. M'Baku got his own chair, y'all. Hannah John Kamen.
Hannah.
I was looking at it and my brain was like,
just regular Hannah.
Please. She's coming as Ghost. Tom Hiddleston, y'all. Tom is back as Loki.
So Loki Thor reunion.
I lost. It was a good thing I was at home because I was audibly making noises. So yes, Loki is back. Patrick Stewart is coming back as Professor X. Ian McKellen. Now this is when I really started to like audible. The puppy was like, girl, what is going on with you? Because I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Ian McKellen is back as Magneto.
That's 2 Professor X's in the MCU now. This will be the second one because Scarlet Witch killed the first one.
Oh, yeah.
So.
But it's different. Yeah, we can get it. We're about to get into that. Alan Cumming is back as Nightcrawler. We got Rebecca Romijn back as Mystique. James Marsden is Cyclops. Channing Tatum is back as Gambit. I don't feel about that one, but we'll keep moving along. And then the last 2, which were extremely obvious, Pedro Pascal is going to be Mr. Fantastic, and Robert Downey Jr., obviously, is Dr. Doom. So all 27, and mind you, the only person that actually showed their face, these are empty chairs, by the way, was Robert Downey Jr. He came in at the very end. He did a little walk. He did a little shush, and then he walked away. He actually didn't say anything. So, and then it concluded. They said, thank you guys, bye, cut the string.
So the most exciting thing for me is that this confirms that Monica is in the Fox universe. Because Kelsey Grammer wouldn't be playing 2 different beasts.
Yes. I agree with that.
To be introduced.
Now, there are notably a lot of people missing. Marvel actually came back and said, well, they didn't say it. They eventually said it, that everybody has not been announced. This was only partial cast list. I don't know if we're doing a chair thing again. Please, God, no. I can't do another 5.5 hours of butter wheel. But like Monica's missing, Captain Marvel's missing, Doctor Strange is missing, Spider-Man's missing, Clint's missing. I mean, there's a lot of people missing in this. Yeah. So
Hawkeye's been missing since his series. He's been missing from everything.
Exactly.
Him and Thor are the only
OGs.
Bruce. Him and Bruce are the only OGs left.
Hulk is gone. Hulk is not also announcing this. So everybody was, after we got done with the 27, everybody was like, well, where is this, that, and the third? And then also people were like, oh, it's too many people. And I'm just like, y'all, it's the movie that we get into is called Secret Wars. Yeah. And last time I checked, it's a bunch of people in this.
Yeah.
So what y'all complaining about?
Secret Wars is the bigger film. So
right,
and that's the thing.
But we need setup.
This is going to be the big film, but Secret Wars is going to have the longer cast list because that's the fight. That's the throwing all your toys together at once movie.
It's the bang bang.
This is going to be the build up movie.
Kill them all that jazz. So what you said about Simu Liu about I wonder if he knew. I wonder if all the other actors knew. Now I'm sure Robert Downey Jr. knew. And we all knew, like, some of these people, we all were coming back. They already said the Thunderbolts were going to be in this. We knew Anthony Mackie was coming back. But I wonder if some of these actors didn't know the other actors was in this. And this was like
if they didn't know, the people on this list didn't know the other people on this list were?
Correct.
I'm sure the Thunderbolts knew they were all going to be in it. I'm sure the Fantastic Four, if you were in the same project, probably. But the rest of them, probably not.
Right. So, like, I wonder if, I'm just throwing something, I wonder if Kelsey Grammer knew that Ian McKellen was coming back.
Probably not.
Like, I wonder how they, and
I don't see them being in a group chat.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Which kind of makes it fun that, like, they kind of knew as we knew as well. But this movie is going to be huge.
Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart probably both knew because they're actually friends.
Right. They probably talk to each other. Like, did you get the memo? Did you sign the check?
I don't think the rest of them really talk to each other like that.
Right. Like did Chris Hemsworth know that?
Chris and Robert knew that
Chris and Robert probably knew they were going to be in it. But some of these people are probably like, who knew Namor was coming back besides him? Yeah. Which is it? Like maybe Letitia knew because she's Black Panther, but it's like, did everybody else know? I don't know. Yeah. That might have been a bigger shocker.
Sentry coming back was a shocker too.
Okay, y'all thought that they was gonna kill him in Thunderbolts?
Well, I mean that's the Marvel thing. They usually do the one-off villain.
You're not wrong.
In the movies, so the fact that he survives, I guess, means that they're going in the.
Is he gonna be? Whose side is he gonna be on? Is my question.
They'll probably like he'll probably turn over at the end because Sentry's technically two halves of a different whole to the same whole. So
I hope he starts off on the bad side.
He'll probably either get control of his Void side or they'll defeat the Void side and he'll just be regular Sentry.
Side, or he'll have Secret Wars or something,
or it'll just be a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing for him forever. And it's like a Bruce Banner thing where he constantly has to worry about whether he's gonna flip out or not. Yeah.
Keep me out.
That'd be interesting.
That will be interesting.
You have to worry about whether or not the Superman character is gonna go dark.
Gonna kill you in your sleep.
Yeah.
Yes, I like that, sir. I'm very, very curious of what the whole like plot, just the plot in general is. Yeah. Of this movie, and I hope any actual surprises do not get spoiled for us. Like, come on, y'all, keep the lid on something, just a little bit. But we'll see. Yeah. They're gonna be dying to get like set leaks and set photos, and the Russo brothers said they filming in a box anyway, but somebody gonna break a rule.
It's interesting. What? No Young Avengers.
That's fine.
All of the time they spend building up. No, that's interesting that they're not included in this
yet.
Maybe they don't come in until Secret
Wars. Yeah. I think there is a rumor that Spider-Man will actually not be in this and he might not come up till Secret Wars. Which is fine.
This is something technically new. Like, this isn't derived from a comic book storyline.
Oh, like Secret Wars is, but this is like...
I think they're taking some part... I think what they're doing is splitting Secret Wars up into two parts.
And just calling it Doomsday.
Because Doom, most of Secret Wars was about Doom.
Got you.
So I think this will just be the Doom... They're moving the Doom section of the stuff to the front.
Okay.
And then they're doing the rest of the Secret Wars stuff in the Secret Wars movie. But it's feeling like they're just going to do both because there wasn't a Avengers Doomsday comic book storyline.
Right. Because, this originally was supposed to be Kang Dynasty. So I wonder if they literally just swapped them out and was like, skirt, cut, paste, copy, paste, done.
Yeah. So.
Interesting.
Yeah, probably. They just replaced the villain.
Mm-hmm. Which,
Key parts of the story.
That's what you get good writers for.
And I mean, most Marvel big bads are kind of interchangeable. Like all big bads are interchangeable. Fair enough. They all want world domination.
Right. Reasons, so. Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. I mean, this. I think. Okay, you had to be petty. The one Thunderbolt that is not on this list that everybody says is gonna be dead, which I'm coming to terms with, is Taskmaster.
I don't think Taskmaster gonna make
it. She on the popcorn bucket though.
She is.
So she in a movie.
Drew Barrymore's on the cover of Scream.
You petty.
She
right?
is.
That's very petty of you to do, by the way. So this is gonna be a very big movie. Of course, there's some naysayers. We don't care. Y'all gonna see it anyway. We got a whole year of anticipation for this, and it's
gonna trigger rewatches.
Oh yeah, people are
gonna go back and revisit the X-Men movies if they never did.
I might actually do it. I might actually do a rewatch of everything. Maybe.
Yeah, it's gonna trigger rewatches from all the stuff these people have come from. We just rewatched most of Shang-Chi.
I literally watched that movie every time it be on. Like a couple
days ago. Yeah. I guess we haven't seen Thor since Love and Thunder.
No, but I'm glad I guess it was probably obvious he was going to come back, but I'm glad Chris is being able to come back to, because he was all in his feelings about the Love and Thunder and how it got received. So I'm pretty sure we're going to get our serious Thor back. He probably ain't going to have no jokes, no funny business. It's going to be all like serious.
I wonder if there's significance to the order. His first billing.
The last two make sense, but the rest of them, I don't know. It's also funny. People who are irritated, like
he's
not
also kind of like the strongest person on this list outside of Dr. Doom.
Who?
Thor.
True.
So
people were being funny talking about why did they not release them in groups? Because all of the OG X-Men came out together. So we got Professor X, Magneto, Nightcrawler, Mystique. But the Thunderbolts were like sprinkled throughout.
But what groups? I mean, other than the X-Men and the Thunderbolts.
Fantastic Four. They didn't release Fantastic Four together, so everybody was like, "Where's Pedro? I'm like, y'all, he obviously."
They were gonna be in this movie.
People was complaining. I'm just saying.
You didn't know Fantastic Four was gonna be in this
over
movie?
the 5.5 hours. People was like, "Where's this? Where's that?" And or if like when the Thing got announced, like, "Oh, well, the Thing's in," and I was like, "Y'all, I think it was obvious."
There's only like 3 groups, and the rest are just like sprinkled in solo heroes who haven't actually formed an Avengers team yet.
Exactly.
So I'm actually wondering what the Avengers are. Who are the Avengers?
People have their speculations. I've seen Thor, Shang-Chi, Captain America,
Black Panther,
Ant-Man, and Black Panther will be the new set. Although, I wonder if M'Baku, he's also missing. Now, how's Vision missing? And he got his own show coming up.
Yeah, where's Love? Who's babysitting Love while Thor's fighting Dr. Doom?
Oh, that's a very good question.
Yeah.
I wonder if she's going to come.
She has a daughter now.
I wonder if she's going to come back, or they going to be like, don't worry about
it. She's that's fine. Too significant.
She's fine.
There's too significant of an ending.
He could have sent, what's her name? Valkyrie could be watching her. Although she probably busy.
Yeah,
so no.
The girl is like a superpower being.
I'm wondering if M'Baku is going to leave Wakanda. Kind of how Okoye left Wakanda with Shuri. I wonder if they're going to do M'Baku.
I don't think so, because M'Baku has his own tribe.
But what's going to take place in Wakanda?
He's the leader.
Is Doom going to go over there and reckon?
Maybe it doesn't take place in our universe. Maybe all of these people are from somewhere else.
And Doom's like hopping around?
Or maybe this takes place in a Doom universe.
Interesting.
Because the X-Men aren't here.
Obviously.
So
correct.
Or the Fantastic Four, actually. So there's 3 separate, areas. 3 to 4 separate different universes coming into clash in this. So.
And what is Loki going to be up to?
He's outside the universe.
Exactly. Chilling in the chair.
So I don't know what would have
triggered.
Yeah, Loki to come down because he's controlling the timelines.
Right.
So
I need one thing and I need several things. But the number one thing I need in this movie is a Loki Thor reunion. I better get it. I'll be marching on somebody's lot with a pitchfork.
Yeah. So
I absolutely need it. But yeah, this movie's gonna be probably 12 hours long. So they already proved that we can watch 5.5 hours of something. So why not? So we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's at least
exciting.
At least 3.5, 4. I'm guessing.
All right. So this releases on May 6, 2026. We'll be there.
Twice. 3 times. Aplenty.
All right. So that is the movie news for this week. Let's roll into the trailer park.
Toot toot.
First trailer we have on the list is One Battle After Another. This is the Paul Thomas Anderson movie that is going to star Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, which I didn't know was going to be in it initially, Benicio del Toro, Regina Hall, Tiana Taylor, and Chase Infinity.
It looks very cool. It's given very quirky, weird, zany. The initial speculation is correct that Leonardo DiCaprio and Tiana Taylor are revolutionists of some sort.
Yes.
And they had a baby who is Chase Infinity, grown up, and she has been kidnapped.
Yeah.
And Leonardo DiCaprio and Tiana Taylor trying to get her back.
So the plot, the synopsis on the wiki is when their evil enemy resurfaces after 16 years, a group of ex-revolutionaries reunites to rescue one of their own's daughter.
Oh, so So in the trailer, we don't see who the enemy is. It seems like everybody we see is on the good people's side. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
and they still have like a whole
big cast, so it could be a lot. It could be anybody.
It could be anybody. Wood Harris is also in this. He wasn't in the cast list that I pulled. So
yeah, he is. So
they are clearly still go by some sort of code because Leonardo DiCaprio has to speak in some sort of terms like, what does the goose do on Tuesdays? And you say something like 12:30. He's trying to give like code word, but he forgets in the trailer and they hang up on him. So it doesn't seem like it's super duper serious, but it does have that kind of like, there's a serious subject matter at hand, but it's not all like straight faced. So it looks like it'll be a good time though.
Yeah. So excited for it. Paul Thomas Anderson has a lot of good films.
Yes.
He's also married to Maya Rudolph. So
is he?
Winning in Women. Yes, he is.
Oh.
Since 2001.
Oh.
So, yeah.
No idea. Oh, interesting.
I don't think they hang out in public. But
I was like,
their love is strong.
That could have been a trivia.
So, but he has a really good filmography. So the trailer looked interesting. It didn't give too much away. I was a little disappointed by the trailer because I wanted to see more Tiana Taylor. And I feel like she wasn't in enough of it. It was mostly Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, Regina Hall is in this for like half a second.
Yeah.
It's mostly Leo, and then we probably get more Benicio del Toro too.
Yeah.
Than any other women.
I was looking for some more Tiana, but that's fine. The trailer didn't give too much of the movie away, which is good. So.
Right.
Which the intrigue.
Trailers these days is giving you, like, I ain't gonna go on the soapbox, but the Sinners trailer, I ain't watching no more of nothing.
Yeah.
I don't even want to see no posters. Let's just keep it tight, y'all. Keep it some mystery. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
All right, next stop on the trailer park is for Final Destination's Bloodlines. We've been talking about this for a while. This comes out May 16th, 2025. This is going to be, I guess, I don't even know what
you mean.
This is a prequel, sequel?
No, I think it's just a sequel.
I think it's supposed to tell the origins of the cycle of death.
It feels like
it. So
the
rumors were correct. It's gonna be around a family.
Yep.
It's gonna be death moving through a family.
And Grandma started it all.
It seems like in the Roaring 20s,
right?
Grandma stopped a mass death incident
at a party.
At a
kickback.
As you usually do in a Final Destination movie.
Yes.
I think this is the most people I've ever seen saved.
She saved a lot.
Yeah.
A whole gaggle of people.
And we're supposed to believe since the Roaring 20s till now, Grandma has
call it the Roaring 20s.
Successfully evaded death.
She
has, even though everybody in between then and now has not.
Well,
she has a lore Bible.
Yeah. Yeah, now that you call that out. She survived it, and then all of the people at the party have also survived it.
Well, I think the thing is
death
that
is like, I'm coming back.
I think we're supposed to believe that, and I haven't confirmed this. This is my thoughts. I think we're supposed to believe that every movie, Final Destination movies, links back to somebody at that party that Granny saved.
Okay, that's like a descendant.
And now
of that
death
person
is officially coming to like her group of people.
Finally.
Yeah.
I think got all the other people. I think
because the trailer says witness the beginning. So I think this is supposed to be like everybody in all the destination movies is a descendant of somebody who she saved in the 20s.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Fine. I mean, it's not technically a retcon until somebody points it out that it is.
What threw me was the lore Bible. Because I'm just like, when did you develop
put this together?
And how have you been avoiding death for so long? She said that he was persistent. She had been avoiding him for so long, but he'd been so persistent.
And grandma is grandma. Like, there's a chain. There's not a chain. There's generations at this point of family.
Yeah.
So she didn't have offspring, and offspring didn't have offspring, and they all been cool for this time. Sure, y'all.
So I mean, sure. it's Final Destination. It's not Academy Award.
We're not here for
the plot is a little wonky, but that's what makes it fun.
Exactly.
It looks like it's gonna have some interesting kills.
It does.
The opening of the trailer was what everybody expected because they teased it about a week ago. Was going to be a shard of glass that somebody was going to drink because it was mixed in ice, but it's actually built up to somebody stepping on the glass and getting their face chopped off by a lawnmower. So I didn't see that one coming. I think that was the only interesting part of the trailer for me. The other ones, somebody got hit by a passing truck. We saw that in Final Destination.
They use that in every movie.
They teased the log thing. They've done that in like the past 2 Final Destination movies.
I hope we're not getting a bunch of rehash of previous kills.
Yeah, there's a lot more ways to die.
The one with the glass in the water was actually different because it actually didn't turn out the person drank it. Yeah. Somebody stepped on it. I was like, oh, okay, y'all kind of did a little switcheroo there. I hope it's more like that versus rehashes of. Yeah, I don't know.
They did. Somebody's neck got stuck in a revolving door, which reminded me of the lady's neck who got stuck in the elevator door.
And the car wash. Was that her neck or was that her upper body?
That was her in the first car wash death. Well, it wasn't a death, but it was her neck got caught in the sunroof.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It looks serviceable.
Yeah, it does. It looks like it'll be fun. I just hope we get some more interesting kills. I guess this will be in addition to the one in the first trailer where the guy got his nose ring caught on the ceiling fan.
That's I didn't like that.
That was kind of wonk.
Right, not because it was gross. It was just kind of like, I
I hope there's more fun kills.
Yes.
And I hope I like the family.
You just don't want them to die.
It would be fun. No, it would be fun if the family was like a Knives Out type of family.
Okay.
Where there's like actual people who can actually act and have chemistry, and you may not like them because you're gonna want to see them.
I was gonna say they're not good people, but they make it fun.
They're entertaining. Yes. Not just dumb people who make dumb decisions.
And you're just ready for them to go
because they dumb. Like it'd be fun if they had like an actual fun dynamic.
Kind of like Abigail. A little bit. Some of the characters in Abigail we liked, but we were like,
yeah, like I hope they feel like an ensemble cast, not just they casted a bunch of people.
I think Tony Todd is the most notable person in this. R.I.P. to a legend.
Yeah, I don't recognize any.
Is the most notable person in this whole. I didn't even bother to put him on here because I was like, I don't know none of these people. So cheap.
It achieved the rank of second most watched horror movie trailer ever with 178.7 million views in 24 hours. What's the most watched?
I should have looked that up.
Oh, hold on. Let's see.
That would have been a notable thing to put in the notes, wouldn't it? That is a lot. Also, there's been like a gazillion horror movies out for this to be number 2. Pretty significant.
Jay's
Googling because I didn't Google before. It's probably like Scream. Let me guess. Is it like one of the Screams? No, that wouldn't be most. Maybe like a Saw. A Saw sound like it would.
Oh, It.
It made the remake of It.
Yeah.
That one made a bunch of money, so that makes sense.
Yeah. So
this is probably.
And they're both, I guess, both of them are revisits to franchises that have been asleep for a very, very long time.
Yes.
So, yeah. That might have helped with
Final Destination is a cultural movie.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
New fears for generations.
It did. People said the glass scene in the water unlocked a new fear. I was like, I never thought about that. Well, like, get a Sprite and be like, this is like a cube, and it's actually a glass shot.
That didn't bother me because I usually ask for no ice. So,
or
I use a straw.
Mm-hmm. But no, they ain't giving you straws these days. Not environmentally.
I ask for a straw.
It's not environmentally friendly.
I ask for a straw because death is not worth it.
Right. I am looking, even though I'm kind of like on some of the kills, I'm looking forward to this. I think it's gonna be a packed weekend. I think this is the weekend before Memorial Day, so it'll be interesting to see how it does against Lilo and Stitch.
I think it'll do fine regardless.
Yeah, this is appropriate alternative broadcasting.
And Mission Impossible.
Lilo and Stitch.
Once again, I think this is alternative broadcasting to Lilo and Stitch.
Oh yes,
you can't even be in the same age range and buy a ticket to both of these movies.
Kids not going to see Final Destination.
Right.
This is going to go see Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, but you can do that for Mission Impossible.
There's an overlap there.
Yeah.
Oh well.
You can take your kids to see Mission Impossible.
I don't know if you should. But I feel like the
Mission Impossible movies are kind of bloodless now.
But I feel like the older adults that are going to be interested in Lilo and Stitch are the same adults that are going to go see Mission Impossible. Yeah. That's why I think it's a bad pairing.
Yeah. And they're definitely leaving their kids at home to go see Final Destination.
Yes.
So, less tickets.
we'll see how that weekend pans out. But Final Destination is probably gonna be just okay.
Yeah, it'll probably just be okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay at the box office. Just okay movie.
Yeah,
it'll
probably be just okay.
I know what you mean.
I mean, they're all just.
I'm trying to temper my expectations.
The first two are good.
The fifth one was really good.
Third one, everybody loves the third one. The third one for me was just okay.
I don't even remember the third one and the fourth one.
It was the roller coaster one.
Oh,
with Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Barely remember 3 and 4.
It was okay.
I do remember 5.
5 was the prequel reveal.
Yes.
4 was awful.
Oh, good. Then I'm not gonna bother.
But they've all kind of just been. The first 2 were the best.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This one, I'm gonna temper my expectations because what I've been doing lately is setting myself up for some of these movies, and then when they just okay, I'll be like, oh, that was disappointing. Like The Monkey would be a perfect example of I was really hyped about seeing all the kills, and then at the end of the movie, I was like,
there's a place for the B movie.
It is.
Yes.
It is. I'm going to have B expectations.
Yes. Okay, so that is all for the trailer park. Let's dive into this Buncha Crunch.
All right. First up, we got some casting news for The Mummy. Jake Rayner, who is from Midsommar, which I did not see. Transformers Age of Extinction, which I barely remember.
Who's the Australian driver? The boyfriend of Mark Wahlberg's daughter.
Lies. I did not see that either.
So, you didn't see the Mark Wahlberg ones.
I skipped it. I was like, why does Age of Extinction sound familiar? But I can't recall it because I've never seen it. But anywho, Jack had got to come up. He is cast in Lee Cronin's The Mummy, which is the I'm gonna say the horror mummy because this ain't gonna be like our Brendan Fraser mummy because Lee Cronin is from Evil Dead Rise.
Yes.
No, not gonna do this.
And the teaser for the title reveal of The Mummy has Evil Dead Rise theme music and vibes to it. So
I can't do it. I'm not gonna do it. It's not coming out till next year, April 17th, 2026. I don't know. I need to see a trailer, and then maybe. But I can't do no Evil Dead Rise, which makes me sad. Which makes me sad because I have The Mummy in my mind, and I know this movie not gonna be The Mummy.
Evil Dead Rise would haunt you.
I know it would. What do you mean?
All the Evil Dead movies would haunt you.
So if it's in the same vein, what am I gonna be able to do?
Because there's a difference. I mean, with the Evil Deads, it's just like evil ghouls for evil ghouls' sake. There's no there's no underlying lesson. The underlying lesson is leave evil books and tapes alone.
Which is funny because that's what the original Mummy was about. An evil book that they should have left alone.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. True. Oh, well, hey, there's a parallel here. So this is obviously...
There's a connecting thread.
That was how Evil Dead started, was the reading of the book. Okay. Well, it comes in. It could be a reading of the book or the playing of the tape or the record, or just don't play the incantations. Leave the incantations alone.
Sure, gonna have to wait for a trailer to see if she can handle this. But
I've seen Jack Rayner in something. He was in Midsommar. He played Florence Pugh's boyfriend. Remember I told you? Yeah. What movie were we just watching?
Opus.
Mm-hmm. And I was talking about
this reminds you of
there was a scene in Opus that reminded me when they put that guy in a bear and set him on fire. That was him.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Jack's alive.
That was the end of the movie.
So I wonder who Jack is playing in this. They didn't say who, if he's like.
I don't think they're gonna be doing like Rick O'Connell or something like that. But
he's not Rick.
I don't know.
Maybe he's the mummy.
Or he could be this archaeologist.
Right.
Yeah. The mummy usually has a cast of people who uncover the mummy and then somebody who plays the mummy.
So the mummy's probably just like, somebody in a suit, I'm guessing.
They should have an actor. Like Bill Skarsgård was a good choice for Dracula.
Oh, you're right.
They should have like an actor.
It's probably gonna be an actor. Okay.
And they'll probably have like an actor for. I'm sure they'll have an actor for werewolf.
Right. Okay. You make a good point. So Jack could be the mummy. We'll see.
Willem Dafoe.
Willem gonna be like, listen, y'all put me in too much makeup. I'm tired. Next up, we have another casting news announcement. Steve Ewan, who is from Invincible, and we just saw in Mickey 17, is going to be cast in Avatar: The Last Airbender, the animated sequel, which he is good. He's Invincible. If you haven't watched it, it's an animated show, not for kids, but it's really good. It's still, we fell off of it, but I heard it's still really good. Mm-hmm. I almost kind of want to pick it back up because
it's still going on.
And it just got renewed again.
Yeah, it keeps getting renewed.
Yeah, I think they said they had like 8 seasons or something.
They're going to finish the series.
Okay, okay. But he's done voice work. He was originally, if you didn't know, supposed to be Sentry in the Thunderbolts.
Yes.
But now that I've seen the trailer, I don't know. I think Lewis is fitting the bill quite nicely.
I mean, he looks like Sentry.
I've never seen Lewis Pullman in anything, but...
He was in Salem's Lot, which I saw.
Oh, you did. Oh, you're right. Okay. Yeah. Him and Danny Maria is also like good friends, which I think is kind of funny.
I think they were both in Top Gun.
Oh.
Was Louis Pullman in Top Gun?
I think you're right.
Yeah, him and what's his face from Twisters?
Glenn Powell.
They all like are friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Steve Yeun does great voice work, so this makes perfect sense. Avatar: The Airbender movie is coming out in January 2026.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be an animated movie where they're all grown up.
Okay.
Instead of being kids. So it's supposed to take place further in the future, and they're all adults now.
They've always been kids and everything, right?
Yeah, they had like a special at the end of the series where they showed them as adults, and everybody's like, "Oh, we want more of this." So I guess this is them doing that.
Okay, cool. All right, more news announcements, and I didn't put this in like the news announcements because we don't know nothing about it. But I was like, we like these two people, so I'm gonna put it on the list anyway. Halle Bailey and Rege-Jean Page. I almost did it. Will star in a movie called Italiana. Neither one of them are Italian, as far as I know. From Universal, plot details are under wrap, but I did see something today that it's supposed to be a rom-com movie.
Okay.
Rege does com very good because he was funny in Dungeons and Dragons for the 5 minutes he was in it. Halle Bailey can probably do romance very good because she was Ariel in The Little Mermaid. So shout out to them for getting work.
Yeah, he's on a roll. He just had Black Bag, which is really good. This in Count of Monte Cristo. So.
Exactly. And her Universal movie got canceled, so they owe her anyway.
Yes.
She was supposed to be in that musical with all the black people. I really wanted to see that. Soundtrack would have been fire. Anyway, something we don't need is a Scooby Doo live action series, which is coming to Netflix. This series will have 8 episodes, and I'm not sure who asked for this, but y'all better watch this because if we can't get Scavenger's Reign, y'all better watch the Scooby Doo live action remake.
Yeah.
Why? Why live action? Why do you need this in live action? Because it's going to be like Sonic.
I enjoyed the live action movies, the old ones with Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar and Linda Cardellini.
Those were good for the time.
Yeah, I enjoyed those, but maybe they're gonna do that again. Campy.
Are you gonna watch this?
Oh no, I'm my interest in Scooby Doo. No.
I was just about to say
I graduated to real murder mysteries.
I feel like the interest in Scooby Doo for us, those who watched it and grew up on it, has waned enough to where this don't make no sense.
I also don't know what the audience of Netflix is. It's a weird group of people.
You're right. Anybody who can subscribe and got eyeballs.
Just subscribe and watch anything.
If you can pay money and you got eyeballs, you are a Netflix target audience.
I don't know what the Netflix target audience is
it's
for
just
anything
so goofy.
on the platform. So
Scooby Doo.
It's just a hodgepodge.
Does anybody watch the Velma show on HBO Max?
It got renewed twice. I think it finally got canceled. But...
Okay, I was going to say, but does anybody watch it?
Well, that's because they went in an entirely different direction with it.
It was a different tone. You're right, but it's still like the IP that people would have been like, "Oh, let me check it out." This is probably not going to be for kids. If I had to guess, it's probably. It
might be. Avatar is still for kids.
A live action Scooby Doo.
Yeah, it might still be for kids. Percy Jackson. Maybe Netflix is trying to dive into that. The Percy Jackson. What are the Percy Jackson people doing next?
We just talked about it last episode. Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
fine.
Maybe they're bringing. We were just talking about the young adult market needs
don't
to come
have.
back.
I don't know if they watch no Scooby Doo.
I think Scooby Doo is a little too young.
It's a little too goof.
Maybe they'll be like teenagers.
It's funny we're talking about Goofy in the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Different market. I love.
It's a talking dog.
Yeah. Sure, Netflix. Give us Scavenger Reign season 2 if you want to do something.
Next Scoop of Crunch. Amazon MGM Studios announced that Amy Pascal, producer of Sony's Spider-Man movies, and David Heyman, producer of Harry Potter and the Fantastic Beasts movies, will produce the upcoming James Bond films.
Just the first one?
No.
You said no?
No.
I think it's one random note about David Heyman. He apparently is like the most successful producer because of the Harry Potter movies.
That's not hard to do.
It's just like, y'all just picked that man name because he's got Harry Potter under his belt.
Yeah, but you know what? Fantastic Beasts takes a big chunk out of that.
Hey, he probably could have did better if it wasn't for Fantastic Beasts. Yeah. Now, Amy Pascal is the
crazy
producer.
Hair Amy. That's all that I said. Crazy wig Amy.
She is the one who works with Kevin Feige to make the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. They be the one they got to go back and forth with to make sure the movies come out.
And I love when the news article came out. It was a picture of her with like a fresh press. I was like, y'all know this ain't what Amy be looking like.
Her, right. And when I Googled this again to kind of get more details about it, they had the right picture. I'm sorry, not the right. I was like, no, this is what I'm used to Amy looking like. Sorry, we shade Amy. Sorry, Amy.
We like Spider-Man. We like Amy.
We like Spider-Man. We watched the Harry Potter movies. We watched the Fantastic Beasts movies.
She just looks so kooky. She
be kooky in interviews. Like, you ever seen one of her red carpet interviews? She'd be like, Amy, are you okay? Are you all right? Did you?
That's what I enjoy.
Do a little before the red carpet. Anywho, I don't know about them doing a James Bond film though.
The thing about James Bond movies is it's a franchise. But the movies don't feel like franchise. I mean, yeah, they kind of feel like franchise films, but
they kind of stand alone amongst themselves.
They don't feel serialized.
There you go.
Because they can go in any order, except for those Daniel Craig ones. But they were doing something different.
But they fit, like, each Bond fits in its own Bond era.
Yeah.
I mean, this will be interesting because when I think of James Bond, I don't think there's nothing I can take from Spider-Man or Harry Potter and I go, oh, okay, they make a fit for James Bond. No. I don't. And according to the article I read, it's only just for one movie for now, and then they're gonna see how it go.
Yeah.
I'm very sad about the direction James Bond might be taking. So I'm glad Daniel Craig went out on the bang. We'll see.
Yeah. So I mean, they're clearly very successful. We like things that they make.
Yeah.
But not every shoe fits.
Exactly.
Every project.
Every pot got a lid, but sometimes the pot is square and you are round.
Yes.
That's all I got to say.
So
that's all I got to say.
I have to see something.
Amazon's probably fast tracking this to...
It's not going to be good.
The moon. I mean, they probably light speed. They going faster than Superman on this, I bet, to get in the James Bond.
No, the next James Bond thing isn't going to be good, but now it's a matter of figuring out how disappointing will it be.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Temper. We should all temper our expectations. Whoever they get, thoughts and prayers to play. Whoever they get to play James Bond, thoughts and prayers to you.
In better news, Ryan Coogler speaks on Black Panther 3 and Denzel Washington rumors. He says, I'm dying to work with Denzel and I'm hoping we can make that happen. I got every intention of working with him in that movie. As long as he's interested, it's going to happen.
Listen.
So
send the contract over.
I mean, Denzel said he's in it, so it sounds like
it sounds like Ryan trying to be like, well, we ain't finalized, and Denzel was like,
or even if he's not interested, he thinks he's in it. So how about everybody just play along, get the movie back?
Even if he was like, yeah, I mean, somebody said I was gonna be in it, it'd be like, yep, you sure are. Who?
Not everything needs clarity.
It don't matter. Just we'll let you know when we start.
We'll see you on set.
We'll send you over the script and just come on over.
Yeah.
And we'll make it work.
Yeah. We'll send Ruth over to get your measurements.
Right.
You can get costuming.
Speaking of Ruth Carter, she is doing the costuming for Taylor Russell and Michael B. Jordan's movie. That is
another remake.
Blanking
Thomas
on.
Crown Affair.
Boom. Yes. I was like, that's the perfect person.
So it's
because
it's going to rich.
It's going to look real expensive and black, which is what we need. But speaking of Black Panther, there's no way he could not be in it now. Like, there's no way there's some sort of, the deal fell. Because, sometimes casting news comes and goes, and next thing we know, somebody else is in a row. Mm-hmm. They can't do that with this. We are officially locked in. So just Kevin better make it work.
Yeah.
Whoever he is. However the plot works. Right around Denzel Washington at this point. It's a Black Panther movie. But right around Denzel Washington's character.
Ryan Coogler also said that he wanted to do like a horror take on a Black Panther. Or like a thriller, something. And in Black Panther comic stuff, they're very, they have magic is a very big thing there. They have their own priestesses and people who do magic in Wakanda.
Their own lore.
Ancestral plane and stuff like that. So
they can do we don't have What If anymore, special presentation. But that would be like a special presentation as like non-canon. Which they can do. I mean,
or maybe they'll build up of some ideas. I mean, we'll still have that. This will be after the Wakanda animated series comes to Disney Plus. So I mean, we're supposed to get all types of lore because it's supposed to jump between different time periods.
Oh, you're right.
So
you're right. Oh, you're right.
Maybe something will come from that.
I did see a rumor that said that Black Panther 3 wasn't coming out till February 2028.
That's fine.
Is it though? Why can't it come out 2027? I feel like 2028.
When does Secret Wars come out?
2027. Secret Wars is currently the only movie on the slate that we have for 2027 that we know of.
I think,
and because they also need to get that X-Men movie out, so for everybody.
I think that's why they need to also do other stuff because at this point, this will be Black Panther 3, which means lower priority, more
to get the other stuff
characters out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
because everybody gets 3, and then it's every appearance after that is a gift.
Right.
So, like Thor. So,
although I feel like Thor should get a 5 at this point.
Technically, with Thor, we're at overtime. So.
Right. It's so crazy that like Thor has the most movies.
Yeah, successful too. Money
well, I guess Spider-Man will have 4 once this comes out, but he's Spider-Man, so he's in his own realm of like he's
existed forever.
He can have as much as he wants.
Yeah, I mean he's had movies forever. So
there's literally 2 Spider-Mans going on at the same time.
Yeah.
Where is that other Spider-Man movie? Anywho,
the
Sony one.
Oh, the one
animated,
coming out.
The animated one from Sony.
The Spider-Verse film.
We ain't heard nothing else about that. Nothing. There was the whole rumor where they said they was starting over and somebody was like, no, we not. And then it was just like crickets.
Amy Pascal oversees that too?
I believe so, yeah.
Amy got a lot on her plate.
And she about to do a James Bond movie.
So weird like that. Crazy hair, Amy.
Tease. Be tease the heck, y'all.
All right, so that is all the movie news, Trailer Park, and Buncha Crunch this week. We are going to switch over to our Severance Season 2 finale recap.
That's the theme song. I was trying to do that while I was pulling up my notes.
Oh.
I'm playing around and pulled up my Google Sheets. Not my notes. Okay. So Severance is over, y'all. Season 2 is done. Ben Stiller said that Season 3 is not going to take too long. I don't know if I believe him. We'll see. Speaking of seasons not taking too long, Paradise Season 2 started. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
Oh, that's good.
Somebody said...
Filming, not started.
Yeah, started. Somebody said, I pray for times when seasons start pumping them out like this. Because, you know, Abbott Elementary is another show where the seasons just be... That's how we used to get TV. Like, the seasons used to have, like, 3-month break.
Used to get 2 seasons a year.
Listen, okay, we would be fed. Now we are starving.
Prestige television has stretched everything
out. Right, because they take so freaking long. But Season 3 of Severance was... approved, or what I want to say, announced greenlit right after Season 2's finale, as if we didn't know we was getting to Season 3. But let's see, let me pull up how we want to do this, because we're not going to do the whole season, right?
So my thoughts on how we do this is,
okay,
you will probably only understand this review if you watch Severance. We're not going to explain the whole plot to you. We're not going to explain Season 1 to you.
Spoiler alert.
So I was just going to go off of thoughts about how I felt about all the characters by the end of the season.
Sure.
And then how I felt about the season finale.
All right, let's hit it.
Okay, so did you have an order? Or?
I
have an order.
Okay, you go first. I'm going to go off your order.
So, of course, starting with Mark.
Yes. Ooh. Any art? Do you have 2 separate lines for Mark? Any Mark and Audi Mark? Do we have 2 separate lines for everybody?
So I guess we can just talk about the ending.
Yes.
So the way Season 2 ends is that Any Mark and Outie Mark have a conversation. Outie Mark is trying to convince Any Mark to go in and save Gemma, because it's been revealed that Gemma is actually being tortured in there because Cold Harbor is actually them implanting, I think, 24 different personalities into her. And I believe the end goal is just to try to get her to forget who she actually is.
Yeah, I think we're still fuzzy on
erase outie memories.
Yeah, on what the Lumen's mission exactly is, but it's got something to do with an outie not knowing who they are.
Yeah, Cold Harbor definitely has to do with injecting a bunch of personalities into one person.
And I guess they can flip them at will.
We're not clear on what they plan to do with this technology.
Correct.
But we know that the test subject has been Gemma. So she's not dead. They stole her body, faked her death, and they've been using her as a test subject.
We don't know how they did none of that.
We don't know how they orchestrated any of that yet.
That's left out.
We know that Cobell created Severance, or invented the concept.
We don't know how Lumen got to be in charge of it and technically stole it from her.
Right.
We don't get into that either.
So Irving's been fired because he figured it all out, and Bert drove him off into the sunset. Well, put him on a train, and he trained off into the sunset. We're not sure if we're going to see Irving anymore. I
think we won't, actually.
And I wouldn't be upset with that.
Irving deserves to be happy.
Endings.
There you go. Something got to close at some point. And Irving going on to be happy would be a good closure.
And the way the finale ends is that Mark S. goes in, successfully rescues Gemma, and gets her out of the building, but chooses to stay. This is Any Mark. Yeah. Chooses to stay to go get Halle and possibly Dylan. But we're not exactly sure
where they're going.
or if they'll all be terminated, quote unquote, because Gemma is now out in the wild.
Yes, so Gemma,
that was the fear.
Exactly. So Gemma is free, and our last shots of the whole season is Gemma banging on the door from the outside, begging for Mark to come with her. But she don't realize, or maybe she does realize, that Mark is Any Mark, and Any Mark don't know Gemma.
Yes.
Any Mark is like, I saved you, girl. Goodbye.
Yeah.
He want to be with his girl, Halle.
Right.
And Halle is kind of like, yay, I guess.
Right. Because to her, the way Severance works, we don't know what her last memory was prior to being brought in. So to her, she's just waking up and seeing Mark running off into the distance.
Yes, you're right. And so Audi Mark and Audi Gemma do have a brief moment, because on the testing floor, as they're coming up the elevator, you flip to your regular self. So they get maybe, I don't know, 5 seconds of like, oh my God, Mark, oh my God, Gemma, and they have like a sweet moment. And then when they get to the regular floor, their chips flip back, and she's back as Mrs. Casey and he back as Any Mark, and they like, what's going on?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
And it gets real weird again. So yeah, Any Mark, they both frustrated me.
So
Any Mark and Audi Mark.
I mean, they both are frustrating, but
off.
I definitely dislike Audi Mark more.
Okay. He's a little insufferable.
He's insufferable. That is a perfect way to put it. Yeah. And I'm not sure if he's insufferable because he's grieving. It seemed like in the flashback episodes prior to Gemma dying, he was just kind of like, ugh.
He was a little,
it seems like he's always kind of just been like, ugh.
A little bit of a jerk.
Yeah.
A little bit. Because they meet at what I think now is a looming blood drive. And, we see their relationship progress, but Gemma gets pregnant and she has a miscarriage, or she's having trouble getting pregnant. So they go to what seems like a looming clinic to get help getting pregnant. And Mark just doesn't seem like, at first he's okay, like being supportive, but as she's going along, he doesn't seem as like nice.
No, I mean, he's selfish. And I think that, and that's everybody, because everybody who technically gets severed has a bit of selfishness. But I think he's like super selfish. I think that it was highlighted in this season. You didn't really notice it as much in the first season.
Because we didn't see Audi Mark as much.
It was highlighted in this season because Any Mark made a good argument. He was like, everybody in that building is going to quote unquote die because you want me to save your wife, who's like one person.
And I don't know her.
And I don't know her. And even in the conversations, which I liked, when they talked to each other through the video cameras.
Probably the best scene of the season.
Audi Mark is describing Gemma as like his whole world and equating it to Any Mark's whole world. And Any Mark's whole world is like, nope, that doesn't balance out.
I have the big thing about this season was that the Ennies had their own lives, and they had their own, and they didn't want to lose them. Yeah. They're like, we are totally separate people, and they didn't like the fact that the Audis were doing things that their Ennies didn't like. Yeah. So Any Mark didn't like the fact that Audi Mark wanted him to save Gemma and kill all of them. Any Halle didn't like the fact that Audi Halle was an Egan and was a trash person, and she also slept with Mark. And Any Halle didn't know. Yeah. And then Audi Dylan didn't like the fact that Any Dylan was meeting with his wife and was a better person as an Any than he was as an Audi. Yeah. So it was like an Any versus Audi season, essentially.
Yeah. So as for Mark, I feel like they did a lot to make you lean more towards Any Mark, because Any Mark isn't selfish. He's selfless. He cares more about the people inside the building than he typically even cares about himself. He puts himself in danger to save Halle and Dylan and Irving. You felt bad for the Ennies, like for real this season. Yeah. I feel like, but I agree with you until the last 3 minutes of the show. Yeah. Until Any Mark closed that door and wasn't going outside, I was like, hold up. But that's the thing. What are you doing? For me, I was glad Gemma was free. Yes. I'm glad Gemma got her freedom. Silver lining. But Audi Mark surviving was not a mandatory requirement for me. Okay. I like Any Mark more. So I want Any Mark to be happy and Audi Mark to be happy. I mean, Audi Gemma to be happy, but I don't necessarily care about Audi Mark. You can't have both. I know. And the crazy part about it is Gemma gonna go outside and Devin gonna be like, where's Mark? And she'll be like, I hope she actually gets away. I
think she will. People were speculating like, oh, how is Gemma gonna get it? I think they didn't show it.
Yeah.
But I think they are probably waiting for her outside.
And I hope Gemma gets to be a character in season 3.
I would like that.
Yeah.
I would like that. Like we get to see Gemma outside.
Yeah.
Fully operating like a normal person.
Yeah.
That would be cool. That would be cool. All right, let's talk about Dylan.
Dylan. Sure.
Dylan. Let's do Dylan. So Dylan had the conflict this season of where he was able to meet his Audie's wife. Mm-hmm. And his Audie was jealous, essentially, because the any Dylan was kind of like, he didn't have to deal with the outside world, essentially. The kids, being discriminated against because he was severed or none of that. And he was actually enjoying the time with the wife, as opposed to Audie Dylan was just trying to work to get paid. And she was saying how, Audie Dylan felt like he was getting cheated on with himself. And I was like, I mean, he's kind of right.
Yeah.
And for a second there, I thought that Dylan was just going to totally go off and do his own thing and not be about taking down Luma no more once he found out he could meet the wife, because that was his thing keeping him going. Mm-hmm. And eventually they had to break it off because the wife was kind of like, this not right. Like, Audie Dylan is threatening to quit. And then any Dylan was like, screw him, I'm gonna quit. And I'm like, now how y'all gonna quit together?
Right.
It was very strange. It was interesting to see the wife interact with the any Dylan, because any Dylan doesn't know her, but she's like, I know you because I go home to you every day.
Right.
So that all that acting was very good, because she was kind of like, yeah, we have kids and these are the kids' names. And he's just like, oh, really? What are their favorite things to eat? And it's just like, well, you just fed them before I left. So that was funny. But I like that Dylan came through in the end. So Dylan basically became like you want to say knight in shining armor at the end, when they were trying to keep Milchek from getting out of this bathroom, because Milchek was turning up and tried to stop them from causing havoc. So I hope Dylan finds happiness in the next season. I do think that any Dylan got shafted though, because he wanted to quit. His Audie was just kind of like, no, like you got to stay. And I hope that my wife likes me and I can be more like you. It's like, but you don't know that man. So
I mean, he left it up to him. He told him he could if he wanted to.
You're right. But I feel like the way he set it up kind of guilted him to be like, can you please stay? And Audie Dylan was like, any Dylan was kind of like, I mean, I really don't want to.
So, I mean, it's up to him. He has the decision now.
Right. And one thing that was different this season is that they were allowed to leave. Like, if they wanted to quit, they were allowed to quit, versus before, if your Audie said no, then like you couldn't leave. So that was an interesting thing too. All right. I want Dylan to be happy. Both Dylans. They seem they both deserve it.
I didn't care for Audie Dylan either.
He was also
and I started not to care for any Dylan either. I feel like the lines were blurring between the two, and they were becoming very similar to each other. They were becoming very hateful, spiteful people.
He told Halle, like, I'm wondering if I must also be a jerk like my Audie. And I was like, well, yeah.
But I think I have a bigger theory, which I think the lines are blurring between all of them. I think I think they're starting to naturally reintegrate.
Oh.
And I think that because of just the lines like that and how the behavior is starting to become similar between the two.
Yeah.
But also when Mark when Mark was talking to Cobell and he said that he had saw Irving's paintings, and Cobell was like, what? When she looked super taken aback by the fact that Irving had paintings of the testing
the dark hallway, which we don't get no conclusion to.
She was very confused about the fact that Irving had paintings. Irving had paintings of the dark hallway.
So maybe there's a natural
I think there's a natural reintegration that may take
place. It
place.
don't hold, and I guess that's one thing about Gemma's chip that they were testing. At the very end, or whoever the dude was kind of like, oh, it's holding as they were having her test out the chip. But maybe it's not. Maybe the chip's faulty. Yeah. They're rusting out in their brains.
So maybe it's not holding as long because of lines like that. And because all of them this season started to be more like their Audies and their Innies started to be more like the same person.
They had the personality traits were starting to share.
Yeah, they were blurring. They were starting to mesh back together.
Yeah, that's an interesting theory. I didn't hear that one.
I feel like that might be happening. And they kind of didn't really go back to the Cobell thing. They kind of just left her with shocked face, and we never got back to her.
We never got back to him revealing that. We also didn't touch it, jumping back a little bit. Mark, through this season, or at least a couple episodes this season, is supposed to be going through the process of reintegration. We touch on it for a couple seasons or a couple episodes, and then it don't come back up.
It stops being once Rutabaga leaves, it stops being like a big obstacle.
Yeah, so I don't know how that is ever gonna get resolved, or if it is. I just thought, I was like, did y'all just drop this plot line? Okay.
The last thing I'll say about Dylan is that I did like the letter that he wrote to his Annie at the end. About realizing that he sucks and that he needed to be better.
I do like that Audie Dillon had a revelation of like, your wife is cheating on you with you.
Right.
You should wake up about that.
Yeah.
So yes, I
didn't like the fact that he was very dismissive when she didn't have to tell him. I would have been like, yeah, he's cool, he's fine, whatever, and I just would have went about my man. Yeah.
Anywho,
you want to do Halle?
Halle R. My favorite episode of the season was probably when she got found out. Or when Helena got found out. So I think we talked about this already in our first review, where Irvin basically realizes that Helena is cosplaying as Halle and tries to kill her, and that's how Irvin gets fired. But I like the fact that once they make her go back down there as Halle R. So we're pretty much with Halle R. more than we are with Helena for the rest of the season.
I mean, Halle R comes in later, but
right.
For more time.
So, but Halle R, she seemed like she was really down for the cause to take down Lumen and all that. And she really seemed like she was letting go of Mark to go back to Gemma at the very end. But when he stayed, she was kind of like, maybe I get to get my man back. And I was like, oh, girl. You kind of changing up the script a little bit, ain't you?
Yeah. I liked Halle R. I think I like both Halles, not in the same way. I like Halle R for the same reasons I liked her in the first season. I mean, she's a good person. She's on the good guys team. She is. She
still means well.
Yeah, and she still means well.
Mm-hmm.
I like aspects of Helena. I'm not sure what her angle is, and that makes her intriguing.
Yeah, because it seems like she's very much, I'm part of this family. I got to do what I got to do. But towards the end... It
doesn't seem like she likes it either. So no. I'm not sure if she's going to be an issue or an ally.
I don't think she likes her family one bit.
Both.
I think she hates them.
I do find it very interesting that James,
the dad,
likes Halle R.
That's going to be interesting.
Better, because she reminds him more of Kier. And I wonder what that means. Does that mean Halle R is not a good person? Because Kier was not.
Well, I think it's her fight. I think it's Halle R's fight to like want to take them down. I think it's her tenacity or whatever that he likes. And that Helena just doing whatever they tell her, right? Like she kind of a pushover a little bit. Yeah. Like she got a mean walk.
She's a robot.
Thank you. She a robot. She got a mean talk.
Yeah.
She bark no bite though.
Yeah.
Like she gonna do whatever you tell her to do. As far as Halle, Halle tried to kill herself in the last season and she didn't care. The fact that I was like, girl, you about to kill somebody that's on the other side. Yeah. I think that's what he meant, and that would be very interesting next season to see how they try to use Halle R to their advantage.
But she's the only one who isn't blurred. They're both very clearly separate people. Neither one of them have similar traits.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
So she's the only one I think hasn't meshed into, that doesn't seem like she's meshing into herself.
Right.
So.
Maybe she got a fresh chip.
Yeah, maybe that.
Her chip also got the thing that can flip her back and forth. So
yeah, so.
That's fine.
Irving.
I felt bad for Irving after he got fired because he didn't really seem like he wanted to leave his people, but he did it for the cause though, and I appreciate that.
My feelings haven't changed on Irving. Irving was great this season.
Yeah.
We got the payoff. They didn't drag that out too long. We knew that his Audi was on to something, and his Audi was on to something, and he followed through.
I do like that we didn't wait till like the season finale to get to that part.
Found out Bert was the transporter who used to disappear people for Lumen. We don't know for what purposes.
Bert been an op this whole time, y'all.
He used to send people off into the distance, but he was still severed. So that was interesting.
He was
severed.
So
he had two different lives at Lumen.
Yeah, he was severed inside, and then outside he was an op for Lumen.
Yeah. Which
was great. He'd been working for Lumen for like 20 years.
Yeah. So.
Which was a reveal I was not expecting.
2 paychecks, I guess.
Not them folks.
But I like both Irving's Annie and Audi.
Agree.
I liked Irving and Bert's goodbye.
That was nice.
Bert's husband was super weird. We talked about it. He is
the very weird dad from Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Who tried to burn him and his son alive.
The steward of Gondor.
Yeah.
Nutbag that Gandalf set on fire and threw him off the top of the castle.
The whole conversation because they invite Irving over for dinner. And it's just weird. That's where we find out that that Bert has been working for Lumen for 20 years, and he's like dropping hints, and we find out why Bert got severed, and it's just like, why are we telling all this man business? He was like, you guys were probably in love in there.
His husband was weird.
It was just kind of like, this is not a dinner conversation.
Yeah, his husband was strange.
So
and Bert knew that.
Which is why I was like, Bert, why you invite this man over here?
So
why are we doing this?
I'm glad Irving got his goodbye. Yes, he gets to go off to Malele.
He did with his dog.
With his dog.
I was like, don't forget the dog behind.
So if Irving, so Bert puts Irving on a train and Irving gets to ride off to the sunset, literally the sunset.
Yeah, to some different place. We don't know where.
If Irving comes back, that's cool. That'd be fun because I like Irving. If he doesn't, I'm also completely fine with that because he deserves to have an ending.
I agree.
That gives them, this seems to be a show where they kind of bring in new people.
Irving's Audi was the only one that wasn't making me upset. So yes, I agree that he should have a happy ending. Yeah. He's the only one I
like both their innies and outies.
Correct. He's the only one where I think I was cool with both.
Yeah.
Not one to strangle.
I have Milicic and Cobell. I have more notes on Milicic, so you want to do Cobell first because I have less notes.
Yes, let's do Cobell. Who was in this not as much. She was in the beginning. She was at the end. She was not in the middle.
Yeah, she just had very small, substantial parts.
And we don't know still if she's good or bad.
The first small, substantial part is she went to her hometown and revealed that she invented Severance.
And
Severance
her family
was her
is
idea.
Nuts.
And we're unsure how she allowed herself to be pushed out, but maybe we'll get more information in season 3. It seems like she's going to be present again since she's back in town.
Yes, the season finale made it seem like she back being a main.
And the second most significant part was that she kind of helped Mark reintegrate. So is Mark done reintegrating?
I don't think so.
Is he out of the woods now?
Well, I don't think so because they had to take him to the birthing cabin to flip back and forth. If he was
because they needed because his memories aren't.
Yeah, because if he was fully reintegrated, he wouldn't have needed to do that.
She helped get Mark to have a conversation with himself.
Yes, and she basically helped Mark get Gemma out.
Yeah.
And she knew all about Cole Harbor.
So I was right about the pregnant women. We don't know what the purpose is. We do know James has been impregnating a lot of them.
Is that what you think?
Because she said Devin was one of James.
When they tried to sneak
in. So why?
I saw somebody say that the birthing things are they basically make the outside person, the outie makes the innie have birth so that they don't have to experience it. And that's the point. Because when you're in the cabin, you are your innie. And when you're out of the cabin, you are your outie.
Why does he have so many? Yeah, that's the weird part.
I don't know about that word.
Severing so that you don't experience the pain of child labor is not unreasonable.
I wonder if I wonder if
it's terrible. But
I've never been pregnant, so maybe yes.
Seems terrible.
But I don't know. I wonder if the innie. I wonder if only the innie knows who the father is that Audi doesn't know, and that's why. I just thought of that. I wonder if only the innie knows that he has impregnated them, and then when they leave the cabin, they got a baby. Surrogacy. They got a baby. They think it's by their husband or something, but it's really by that man. I bet you that's it. I'm noting that down for the next season. I've just proven a theory.
It's gross.
It's nasty. It's disgusting.
But confirmed that they are severing pregnant women. The pregnant women are having babies and forgetting about it.
Yeah. Or forgetting about they was pregnant.
And I put the note that she seems surprised about Audi Irving's paintings, and I think that's because natural reintegration. And maybe she would be the one to know about that because she is the one who came up with the concept.
Yeah,
she would know if somebody was drifting off.
The biggest thing I'm curious about her is whose side is she actually on? Because I'm not convinced she's on Mark's side.
I think she wants back to the company, and now I feel like she deserves because she made it, and that's unfortunate. Because now that I know that she made it and it's horrible, I feel like, if anybody deserves to go down, she should be at the head of it while it goes down.
I wonder if her original intention was to use it for good and Lumen used it for bad.
Maybe. Maybe.
But she been going along with it for
a
long time, and she knew Gemma was down there getting tortured.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she deserves a happy ending.
She did, but maybe she thought it was. But she was also privately watching Mark. We don't know what her angle for Cold Harbor.
Gosh, she was watching. Oh, I think maybe she was watching Mark to make sure he finished Cold Harbor. And maybe
I don't think
came to work. I don't know.
No, she had a very personal interest in Mark.
She was next door.
Yeah,
for no reason.
Maybe Mark was one of her and James.
Oh, come on, Tom. Don't do that. That's gross. That's disgusting.
I mean, they already introduced the whole concept.
I do think the whole town is owned by Lumen, though. Because there was a Lumen logo on the water tower.
Yeah, they said that.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
Why do y'all people
live
there?
They own the whole town.
Leave.
Well, I'm sure there's some type of work program.
But Devin don't work in that work program.
Pays for the housing. But that also could lead credence to the theory that people think Devin's husband is a James.
Okay.
Is one of James, is a Kier.
People think Devin is a op, like she's actually bad too.
I don't think Devin is bad. I think she's stupid now.
She made
a very stupid decision by calling Cobell.
She did.
But I guess they would have never had gotten to the cabin, so.
Sure. I'll forgive her for now because Gemma got out. But if Gemma had not gotten out,
yeah,
Devin would. And I like Devin. That was the bad part.
Yeah.
Anywho, but yeah, Cobell. I don't know where Cobell ends or what side she on in the end of this season. We're not supposed to. I don't think.
All right, Milicic. So, things I have to say about Milicic.
Hit it.
I like Milicic as a actor.
Yes. He seems like a really cool guy.
Yes. Tremel Tillman is doing an excellent job.
He dresses very well.
Milicic, the character, is just plain evil.
He got to get it.
He's just a bad guy.
He's got to get it. I'm sorry. He don't
just
deserve.
A bad guy.
He's got to do something redeeming for me.
I don't think so. I don't even think. No.
You don't think he can do
nothing? She was tortured for too long.
You're right.
You knew about it.
Yeah.
Your only interest has been getting yourself up in the company.
Now, but wouldn't you apply that to Cobell as well then?
What do you mean?
As far as they both knew that Gemma was down there and they both need to go?
I'm not sure what Cobell's angle is.
Oh, okay.
Milicic's angle is just rising up in the company.
Okay, fair enough.
Like he doesn't have any deeper, and if he does have a deeper goal, it doesn't seem like he has like a secret agenda.
No, it doesn't.
Everybody else seems like they do.
Internal conflict going on, but you're right. He don't seem like he got a secret agenda.
Outside of his boss, he enjoys his job, which makes you a terrible person because you're torturing people and you're complicit in it.
And your job is treating you like Uncle Tom.
So there's nothing altruistic about Milicic for me. Like he doesn't give me like
I hate the fact that
he's just a really good actor.
He's a very good actor.
And he's a good villain. And a good character.
He is. Mm-hmm. He knew. So the episode 7 is when we find out that Gemma been down there getting tortured, essentially. She basically every day has to go through different doors and experience some sort of horror. Because the chip she has flips to whatever door they want to go to. And she got to go through it over. Like she go to the dentist. She on the plane crash. She got to write letters, holiday letters. And she just, your Annie don't go outside. So the Annie thinks I'm going to the dentist again. I'm going to the dentist again. I'm going to, it's terrible. And there's terrible. 23 doors. And what we find out is that all the things that Mark has been refining, he's been creating these doors.
Yeah.
He don't know it, of course. But every door is something that Mark has been basically, it's her feelings, I think is what Cobell said. She down there getting tortured for at least, 2 years?
She's literally in hell.
Absolute hell.
Yes.
Like 24 hells, if you want to think about it.
The circles.
She experiencing it every day. She can't leave. Mm-hmm. They feeding her like cubes of food. Mm-hmm. She ain't got no TV. Nothing. She actually tries to escape, right? She knocks some people out. She running. She gets to the elevator. She go up. Now, when she gets to the elevator, though, she flips to Miss Casey. So Miss Casey is like, okay, this is weird. So she's going down the hallway. And before she gets out of the door, Milkshake shows up. And it's like, hey, Miss Casey, can you go back downstairs? And she's like, actually, I think I want to go outside. And he's like, no, you need to go back downstairs. Sends that girl back downstairs to get tortured. I was like, oh, he got to go.
Yeah. So.
I'm sorry.
Milkshak's a bad guy.
Cut his head off.
He
just him and everybody else down there.
Yeah.
Cut their heads off.
Like I don't feel bad for him at all anymore after that reveal.
No.
He faces racism and issues inside of Lumen with his bosses, but he's also aware of Gemma's torture, so that's balanced for me.
Like if you gonna subject somebody to torture and not help them out, them repainting Kier paintings in blackface and giving them to you as a gift.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's
them the breaks.
You should have left.
Yeah.
You should have left and reported them to the police.
You should have. So,
sorry.
I mean, it sucks, but something sucks worse. And the fact that Gemma's downstairs being tortured, I don't really care about the fact that you have to deal with blackface gifts.
No. like you said, he's a great villain. He's a great character. He's acted super well, but he got to go.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
And I hope it's a very
kind of like the Penguin.
Boom.
Yeah, great character.
theatrical. I hope he gets a great death.
Yeah, he has to die. Like,
he gets a great death.
I get when people say that they can't fully hate him because he's really good in his scenes with like Drummond or any of the other Keers when he like sticks it to him.
I think we like the actor so much.
I enjoy when two people I don't like fight.
Oh yeah,
that's entertaining. That doesn't mean I like him because he sticks it to them in those
because
scenes.
I know one of y'all about to go.
They both suck.
And then somebody gonna come and get the other person who left.
Yeah. It's very much a let them fight type of thing.
Yes.
And I enjoy when two people who I despise stick it to each other. I more so enjoy when like Halle or Mark sticks it to Milicic.
Oh yeah, they was getting him this season. And he was feeling it too. And it was like, you deserve it.
And his turn also kind of made me turn on how I felt about Miss Wong. I felt a little better about Miss Wong after
he was so
fully realizing that Milicic is just an evil, terrible person.
Yeah, so Miss Wong was our child intern. We don't know where she came from, but we find out that there's some sort of fellowship program that Lumen puts kids through so they can move into the ranks. Cobell went through it. Yeah. They can move into the ranks into the company or whatnot. And she's very weird, but she's following Milchic's orders. But Milchick doesn't like her, so he sends her to the training camp or whatever in like some different part of the country early. And she's like, well, wait a second. I thought I was staying until he's like, nope, you graduated. Get your stuff. Get out of here. And it was like, well, she's only like 12. What are you doing? Yeah. So yeah, I actually felt bad for Miss Wong at the end because she is literally a child. Yeah. So I was very sad. Yeah. And he sent her off packing.
All right, so that is all my notes about the characters. We already talked about the finale. So is there any other random notes, likes, or dislikes you want to throw out?
Let's see. Any mark not wanted. So I already said this. The best scene for me, or I will do favorite line of scene, was Any Mark and Outie Mark talking to each other. So in order to do this, they would do a video camera. They would video record their message. And then depending on who was who, they would step inside or outside the cabin to view the message. And at first it's very like wholesome. It's kind of like, oh, they're getting to see each other. And they're like smiling like, oh, that's what my Any looks. I mean, they look the same, but they have different mannerisms. So it's kind of cute at first. But then when Outie Mark starts to play in the Any Mark, that he's kind of like, you got to save Gemma so we can take down Lumen. Any Mark started being like, hold up. You want to do what? I'm not dying for you. I don't know you. So that was probably my favorite line or scene. What I have a note that says Cobell is right about him and Halle. I don't know what the heck I was talking about. I don't know what Cobell would have been right about.
Did she know that they have a relationship?
She did. Oh. Yes, I think she did. And I don't know how anybody else put it on that. I do have a note that said I felt bad for Any Mark and Halle. And that was the scene where she was kind of doing her goodbye. I did feel bad in that point because Halle really sounded like she was going to let Mark be free and do whatever. And in the end, she was kind of like, actually, he back for me, so I want my man back. And then, yay, Drummond is gone. I love the fact that they killed Drummond. He was terrible. Yeah, he was a Milchick, essentially, and he got to go. Yeah. So, yes, those are my random notes.
All right. You ready to get into your rating?
Yes, you go first.
I'm going to give it a 5. Actually, I'll give it a 5.
I'll get a 4.5. Yeah. And I only take a half off because the first season gave a lot of mystery. And like, I guess maybe because we didn't know how all of this stuff worked. And we spent more time with the Ennies, it felt more mysterious. This season, we spent a lot of time with the Outies, and I feel like we missed some of that, quirky, mysterious stuff, like, Defying Jazz and all that whatnot.
We got the drum band,
which was
marching band,
which was equally good. We got the HBCU band that was severed, I guess, at a moment's notice, which was also awkward. But there was just that one moment in this season where I feel like last season we got a couple of those. So it was missing some of the quirkiness that I liked about season 1, but 4.5 I think is still pretty good.
I liked it. It expanded on the first season a little bit. We got an answer for what Cold Harbor was. I was going to be upset if we ended a season and still didn't know what Cold Harbor was. So they answered what it is. We don't know what it's for, but
they got you.
That's for something for the next season, I guess.
They got you.
But yeah, it furthered the plot for everybody. I feel like everybody got more moments. I guess the person who got the least amount of moments would be Milicic in season 1. So they made up for that in season 2.
They did.
By getting Cobell out of the way. I do hope Cobell comes back.
So I wonder if Milchic's gonna be not. I'm very interested at how much screen time everybody's getting next season because there's a lot going on.
We got more floors, more departments.
We got some
more
goats.
Lumen lore. Mm-hmm. So more cameos. Brienne of Tarth helped kill Drummond. Well, not kill, but she helped beat up Drummond.
That was good.
She was
about to snipe it between that man's eyes. I was like, "Do it, girl, do it."
What's her name? Sandra Bernhardt was in it as the screaming nurse.
She was like, "It's doctor. The spouse." I was like, "You don't know Mark's name?"
Yeah, she was just running around the hall screaming. Like, girl, like help. She's like, no.
It sounds like Drummond was the only security in that joint because everybody else is getting their butt kicked by the innies. I'm like, y'all ain't got no guns, no stun,
they
no
probably
tasers.
Just think the floors would just be so secure, nobody would get out of there.
Exactly.
But,
which was pretty interesting. So I'm looking forward to season 3. Hopefully, it don't take 3 years like the last time. We'll see.
All right, and now that Severance is over, I have time to watch other stuff like Daredevil.
Yeah,
I have time to start it.
Although I want to watch what's this? I want to watch The Residence. I might binge that.
Yeah.
Wait, is that week to week though? Oh crap!
I don't know. I don't know what Netflix's motto with this thing is.
Shoot.
Yeah.
We'll see. I might wait if it ain't all out.
All right, so that is our short recap of Severance. We're going to take a quick break and get into our review of the week for The Woman in the Yard.
Spooky. This week, we watched The Woman in the Yard. It came out March 28th, 2025. It is directed by a director whose name about to jack up. Jay gonna correct me. Wame?
Colette
Sarah, who is also the director of Carry On, Black Adam, Jungle Cruise, and horror cult classics, I would say. Orphan and House of Wax. No?
Orphan.
Oh, not House of Wax.
I'm gonna call House of Wax a cult classic.
It felt like a cult classic name. I was
it's
like,
fun.
Oh, okay. Is it super scary?
No, it's like one of those campy. I mean,
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
okay. We're gonna move on.
It was scary for the time.
Okay.
Early 2000s horror.
Gotcha. Because Orphan's like 2008 or something, right? It's pretty,
yeah.
Okay.
Orphan's. I wouldn't consider Orphan a horror.
Really?
Orphan kind of like a thriller. Orphan would be kind of like a single white female.
Oh, her head on nothing don't fall off?
No, I mean Orphan is about a grown woman who has some type of dwarfism, who disguises herself as a little girl to be adopted, and steal the wives' husbands.
Oh,
yeah. And there's a show with Ellen Pompeo out right now that's about that, based on a true story. But that's what Orphan is about. She's not like there's nothing supernatural about.
She was like a doll turned human or something.
No, she's just a regular person.
Wow.
She's like the good seed. I mean, she's like the bad seed mixed with a single white female.
How?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I learned something new today. Cast and characters of The Woman in the Yard include Daniel Deadwater plays Ramona. We have Okwe Akpaksawi. I'm butchering your name, girl. I'm sorry. She plays the woman. The woman doesn't have a name in this. We have Russell Hornsby, who plays David, who is Ramona's husband. Peyton Jackson plays Taylor, who is Ramona's son. And we have Estella Kahani as Annie, who plays Ramona's daughter. So let me get back to my notes here. Runtime of 1 hour and 27 minutes. Short, sweet, and to the point. Budget of $12 million. Not bad. No. Not shabby. It has an opening day right now of $3.7 million for Friday, and it is projected to do $9 to $10 million domestically opening weekend.
That's pretty good.
Which ain't bad.
Yeah.
Which I was surprised by, mostly because I ain't seen a stitch of marketing for this movie.
No.
None. Today I was looking up. I was like, did anybody talking about this? They actually did a promotion where they had a woman in somebody's yard dressed. It's like promoting the movie. And I was like, that's how people get shot. Yeah. This is like, unless you knew this movie existed, you would not correlate that. I don't like it. Universal was weird with the promotion for this. So I was actually quite surprised and pleased, actually, that this movie is actually doing pretty well. And how I feel about the movie is different than how I wanted to do in this instance. The ratings for this movie, it has a C- cinema score, which is terrible. Yeah, not good. Not even good for horror. Rotten Tomatoes score, the critics have it at a 40 and the audience have it at a 48. So the audiences and the critics are about the same as the cinema score. Yeah. So do you want to hit us with the plot of The Woman in the Yard?
Sure. So the plot of The Woman in the Yard is Danielle Deadwyler plays Ramona and her 2 kids. After the husband has died in a car accident, they are at home and they are surprised by a woman dressed in black who is sitting in their front yard saying that today is the day, and they're unsure what today is. So the movie is about finding out what the day is and why the woman is there and who the woman is.
Correct.
Yes.
Good synopsis. So let's get into our non-spoiler thoughts first. We will not spoil the movie for you up front. You want to go first?
You can go first.
You want to go first?
Sure.
Okay. This movie is not super scary.
No.
Which I was pleasantly surprised and happy about.
I was disappointed about that.
I know you were. If you were a horror aficionado, you will not be scared. There were a couple scenes that I had like my popcorn bucket up in anticipation. But nothing really. I knew a jump scare was coming because we had just seen a trailer in front of Opus. So I knew about that part, but everything else I didn't need no popcorn bucket for. There's a couple scenes of the woman looking scary, but it's makeup. So you just kind of like, girl, that's makeup. There's no like twitchy and creepy crawling. It's all like a shadow.
Yeah.
So and I didn't realize before going into this is PG-13. So yeah, I guess I should have known. I didn't know that either. I guess I should have known it was going to be super scary because I feel like the super scary stuff is rated R. So,
yeah, that's true.
So this is not super scary. If you are worried about not being able to handle this like I was, you'll be fine. Subject matter is heavy, but it don't hit heavy till like the last 5 minutes. So you're going along with the movie and I don't know if I feel like this movie might have needed a trigger warning, but that might have been a spoiler. But they should have said something about the subject and I ain't gonna spoil it. But the subject of this movie is pretty heavy. So don't think you coming out of this happy at all, period. This is not a feel-good movie. Most horror movies are not, but some you don't come out like depressed. This movie doesn't get going until about an hour in. So the pacing was very interesting. I turned to Jay at about the 45-50 minute mark and was like, we only got 30 minutes left. Yeah. What are we doing? Like, what is taking place? What are we doing? And it's I wouldn't call it slow. It's more like the buildup is quite long. For a movie that's an hour and a half, hour and 23 minutes, or hour, whatever I said, it's got a lot of buildup. And the payoff literally comes like the last 25 minutes. And then last thing I'll say is the ending has a lot of missing dots. So be prepared to go in with an open mind for interpretation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so my non-spoiler thoughts. I'm going to put in a spoiler, and I'll mark it in the timestamp.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Because I feel like it's something that people should know going into this.
Okay.
And for the same reason, I feel like people should have known this going into Blink Twice. And I feel like Blink Twice did the right thing by putting its disclaimer at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, although I feel like you should have had it when you bought your tickets.
Subject matter in which you were about to... Right. But, I mean, you wouldn't have known that.
You're right.
They didn't lead up to anything with the marketing for that. So they put a disclaimer at the beginning of the movie for Blink Twice. Yes. This one should have had one too. So I'll say suicide surprise. This movie, the subject matter that's heavy in this film is about suicide.
It is.
If that's not something you want to watch, or if you're planning to see this movie with somebody who should not see this.
Yeah. If you I would agree. If you have somebody who you think might be sensitive to this,
because
don't go.
When it comes to the subject of suicide, when we get into the third act, they lay it on pretty thick. So,
and this is literally like third act.
It's lengthy and it's drawn out. Not the act itself, but just like all of the implications, the build up to it. Going through the motions and all that. So it's very heavy, and then I don't think it handles the theme very well.
Agree.
By the end of the film. So
Agree.
That's something people should know.
Okay.
Other than that, to me, the movie kind of felt like one of those Twilight Zone episodes that has an interesting story, but a really bad ending.
Okay.
And I mean bad, and like the ending was written bad, and the ending makes you feel bad.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's bad on all fronts.
Okay.
The ending.
Disagree.
And I feel like if you've seen the others, you know where I'm going. If you haven't seen the others, then you don't. But if you've seen the others,
I know what the others is.
The others did this better.
Okay.
As far as a lot of the film, I think this movie borrowed a lot from the others.
Okay.
The cast list: woman and 2 kids. Okay. Taking place in one setting in a house. There's an entity.
You're right.
Other things that we will get into in the spoiler section.
Okay. I haven't seen the others, but I know how the others goes.
And then by the end, I feel like the others handled all of those things much better.
Okay, I ain't gonna knock you for that.
But I feel like this movie did try to pull off kind of the same things.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Yeah.
I didn't have a good example, but that's a good example.
I'll piggyback off of what you said. It wasn't very scary.
No.
That was disappointing for me.
I know it
that was a plus for you.
You was probably Superman.
It wasn't very scary because the woman in black didn't really get active until the last 30 minutes of the movie.
And we see her reveal pretty early, and she looks pretty striking actually. Like, she's a nice looking woman.
Yeah.
And she's she doesn't like change her voice or anything. She has a very normal voice, a very normal cadence. You know, sometimes when you have a scary entity or a ghoul or something, they talk like weird, like, oh, you came from the depths of hell.
Yeah.
She nothing of that.
Yeah.
Nothing. You just kind of like, oh, okay, we're just having a conversation.
Yeah. And I mean, the woman in black was gorgeous, so it wasn't scary.
Yeah.
So,
it's just like,
and then once she, and she does have speaking lines.
Yeah.
But then once she like takes her veil off and she starts to actually act and move around and have scenes and dialogue, I'm like, okay, well, you're not scary.
She ain't scared. I mean, it's in the nicest way possible.
Yeah.
She looks great. No. She's not scared.
No. So
I was like, you're a model.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
I wasn't a fan of the subject matter, how it was handled. I wasn't a fan of how it was handled. I think that's
agree with you obvious.
On that. The movie kind of, towards the end, the movie wants to go in a choose your own adventure type of direction. And I don't think that's what you do when you're handling this type of topic.
That's literally my random note.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's not what you do when you handle this type of topic.
Pick a side.
You have to I feel like somebody, the director, the producer, the writer, somebody who was in a decision-making capacity should have been like, okay, we have to make a decision on this ending.
Yeah. Agree.
Yeah.
1,000%.
This is not an ending where we should leave people with their own thoughts.
Right.
Because not everybody should be left with their own thoughts after this movie, especially after some of the things that the woman in the yard says to our main character towards the end of the movie.
Right. And the ending, the character, there are conflicting things happen. And you're like, well, you could, and you know, some movies like, oh, you could take it this way or that way. But there's like 5 different things where you're like, well, these 5 could fit over here and these 5 could fit over here. Yeah. So how am I supposed to make a decision?
The way the movie ends is that they put everything in the ending that would make it a happy ending, and they put everything in the ending that would make it a bad ending. I feel like they thought that if we include a good ending and a bad ending and throw it all, make a kitchen sink ending, nobody will walk away satisfied because everybody will say they got the ending they deserved. And it's like, no, it's like, it's a topic that most people are on one side of, so you should, make your side evident.
I'm typically not a fan of movies that are like choose your own interpretation, but there are instances where it's done really well, like Inception. That although I think Nolan came out and said which way that was, but for a long time, I think even still now, people are like, well, did it top over? Did it not? There's a way to do it.
And I thought about that in Inception and the others. And the thing about Inception and the others that I think that though this movie didn't do as well is that the ending with Inception and the others those are characters actively fighting against the forces.
Okay.
And they end up the ending ends up in a situation where maybe they're unaware of what has taken place.
Yeah.
This one it's not about her fighting against the force by the end of the movie. And I think that was the issue, that it may end in a situation that's similar to Inception or the others, but she didn't get there doing the same thing and for the same reasons, and I didn't like that.
The build-up is not the same.
Yeah.
The setup is not the same. And you're kind of like, okay. Yeah. I don't like this. That was my reaction.
Yeah, that was my reaction too. And the last thing I'll say is that I do think it was well acted. I don't like all the characters, and I don't think all the characters made great decisions, but I think Danielle Day-Wilder did a great job. I think the woman in the yard did a great job.
Correct.
The husband wasn't really there much, but I mean, he was fine.
He was fine.
I think the kids were okay.
The kids were okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put the husband is played by Russell Hornsby, who has been in a lot of stuff. He has been in a lot of stuff. He was in Creed 2, The Hate You Give, Fences, Get Rich or Die Trying, but he's been in a lot of TV stuff. So if you've seen him, like he's kind of one of those actors where you don't know his name, but you've seen him in a lot of stuff.
Projects.
Right. He was good. He's not in this a ton, but he was pretty good. And I agree with you. Danielle and Oakley did good. I wasn't a super fan of the kids.
I wasn't a super fan of the kids.
Unfortunately. I hate to say that about kid actors.
I also wasn't a fan of the characters, and I think that that goes more towards the writing.
Okay, fair enough. It's not kids, it's the writing, y'all.
Yeah, sure. All right, dodge that.
Right. So we're going to go into our super spoiler section here, where we talk about the characters, what we like, what we didn't like, and we're going to be spoiling the movie from top to bottom. So if you don't want to be spoiled, definitely pause. Maybe check this movie out and then come back and finish the rest. So spoilers in 3, 2, and 1. So let's start off at the top with Daniel Deadwyler, who plays our main character, Ramona. Nah, you go first.
So Ramona is a troubled woman. She's grieving.
Yes.
Her husband just died in a car accident a few weeks ago. So we start off where she's still basically in the pits.
Yeah, she's still injured. She's walking with crutches.
Yeah. Essentially, he died right after they all moved out to the countryside, bought a fixer-upper, and were planning to build it for themselves and their kids.
They're on a farm.
Yeah. So, I mean, she's in a rough situation.
Yes.
Because she's a single mom, one. She just lost her husband and father of her kids, too. But also, there's the financial element.
Correct. She's in a situation that she did not expect to be by herself.
Because she's a painter. And when they moved out there, there was already I guess she was already aware that they're moving from New York.
Right,
so
they came from a big city.
She was already aware that she wasn't going to be able to work as much as a painter out in the countryside.
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
She was very and we opened up the movie with her playing videos of her husband. She's got like the covers over her head and she's replaying the same video of her husband. But you can tell she's a mother going through a lot.
Yeah.
And I guess my biggest thing with her, I had some problems with the decisions her character made, but I gave her grace because she was clearly under duress.
She's very human.
She was very human, right? So I don't think I had an issue with Daniel Deadwyler's character. I think the issue I had is how they wrote them kids and the interactions with the mom, her character. And I was kind of like, it just didn't feel necessary. It was... I guess we're supposed to, like you mentioned, this movie's about suicide. So I guess we're supposed to take that the reason why she wants to take her own life is because her husband's gone, she can't pay the bills, and her kids are driving her crazy?
I took it as she wanted her husband. She did not necessarily want a family.
Okay,
that's what I took it as. Because... we get later, I mean, we're in spoilers.
Yeah.
When we get the reveal about what happened that led up to the car crash, she was ready to leave them all.
She was.
So
she did not want to be.
She wanted a divorce. She wanted to talk about a divorce in a way that she would be able to leave because she did not want. So I don't think she wanted. I think her husband died, and in her mind, she got left with the kids and this fixer-upper stuff. She got left with his dream.
Yeah. I mean, it's clear she loves her kids, but I also feel it's clear she got some resentment towards some kids.
Yeah. I mean, it's something. The kids was the plan with her husband, but without her husband, I don't think she wants to continue motherhood. Or she was interested. I don't think she would have been interested in motherhood had she not met her husband.
I mean, she does have moments where she like snap at the kids, but then there's also moments where the kid, like the son's a teenager and the daughter's probably like maybe 7 or 8. So the daughter I didn't really have too much issue with. But the teenage son was just doing things to egg the mom on. And it was just like, why are you like this?
Yeah.
Like your mom is clearly grieving. She's on crutches.
I mean, he was written annoying.
And I hate the fact that they did that to her. And I guess it was supposed to set up like, this is why she wants to do it. And it was kind of like, I didn't like it. I didn't like that. But well acted. She did the whole grief thing very well. She made a couple dumb decisions. Like apparently there was a neighbor they could have went to for help. They don't do that towards the end.
Not doing more to get the woman out of the yard is what irritated me. Like I wouldn't have just stopped. I wouldn't have stopped at the fact that my phone doesn't have battery.
Right.
So we're just gonna let her sit out there.
Not get no help. No. She tries to charge her phone in the car, but the car don't work. And I'm like, now why does no car? The electricity went out. You can't call nobody. Yeah. So what are you going to do?
And she wouldn't have been able to get away because the woman would have stopped her probably somehow. But she didn't try. There was no effort put into even when her annoying son was like, we should do something. And she's just like, no, we're just going to sit here. And it's like, you want to worry about somebody being in your front yard all day? You want to have that on your mind?
There was no plan. Because
you can't even call for help.
Because she couldn't leave. She couldn't call for help. And her plan was just to wait it out. And I was like, I understand you grieving, but there's a random stranger not moving.
I mean, just general lack of urgency.
Yeah.
That she ain't grocery shopping forever. She ain't paid the bills. The
dog ain't no food.
Everybody's starving to death in the darkness.
It was weird.
So
it was weird. And they didn't give us no background as to why it was like that. We don't get any build up until like, well, why ain't you like call nobody to get food for the kids and
because
dog
she's grieving.
food?
So
okay,
she's grieving, and this is not what she wanted, so she does not care that it's falling apart.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I'll take that. I'll take that. And you made a good point of, this is getting sort of into the ending, but I think it's okay. Where who the woman is. Yes. You were like, I think she knew who the woman was the first time she went out there.
I think when she went out there to the woman and the woman said, every day I pray for somebody else to be strong.
Yeah.
And she had that reaction like she had heard it before.
Okay.
Or she had heard somebody said it before. Mm-hmm. I thought she was going to repeat a line that somebody had said early in the film, but she didn't really. I mean, we kind of saw Danielle pray when she got out of bed.
Yeah, she said, give me strength, give me strength.
And I think that's, when she said, we see her pray for strength, and then the woman says she prays every day for somebody else to be strong for once.
You think that's when she knew?
Yeah, I think that's when she knew who she was.
Fair enough. And I guess at that point, it was even more so. You might want to do something.
You should do something. You know, especially if you know who she is. She's here for you and
she's not letting the kids in on it either, which I guess I can understand for the daughter, but you should have let the son know something popping off. Yeah. Because the son started acting real stupid.
Yeah. Because there's some people where you don't give them knowledge. You don't give them information because it'll make the situation worse. And there's some people who, if you don't give them any information, they'll make the situation worse. And exactly he was the latter.
Exactly what he did.
Yeah.
Anything else about Ramona before we get to the woman?
No.
All right, so the woman, it's kind of funny to have her as a character because the reveal is they're the same person.
Yeah,
they're the same person.
That's what it's supposed to be.
The woman is Ramona's grief or manifestation of her mind.
No, so the woman,
I don't know.
So we're gonna get into the ending because that's the only way.
It's the only way to explain the movie. Yes.
So every day Danielle plays for strength, and come to find out she's praying for strength for somebody. She's praying for strength not to continue to go on, but she's praying for strength to go in the vault and blow her own head off with her dead husband's gun. She's praying for the strength and the courage to do that in spite of the fact that she has 2 kids to raise.
And I guess today was the day that she was planning to do it.
The woman is literally strength coming to literally assist her in propping the gun at her chin to blow her face off.
And that,
the woman is.
But why did the woman need to destroy the house to do that?
What the movie wants you to think by the end. What the movie wants you to think by the end is that the woman is Danielle Deadwyler and that she is a manifestation of her mind and that the woman was never really real. That's what the movie wants you to think.
No.
That's not how they wrote the film, however.
Because the woman teared up the house.
Yeah, they wrote the film as
grabbed the kids.
The woman is an entity who is existing in real physical time and space.
They see her.
And multiple people in this movie can see her and acknowledge her and Danielle Deadwyler are separate people.
Yes, because the woman kills the chicken. Like they got a chicken coop and we don't see the woman kill her. We just look over and the chickens is dead.
Yeah.
Bloody. And it's like, I don't know why you did that. First of all, that was my source of food, but eggs. Thank you very much. Eggs is expensive right now, so boo. Also, she kills the dog, potentially. We don't see the dog dead. We just see the chain of the dog underground, but nobody.
I thought they were going to drag. I thought the chain was going to lead into the doghouse. She was going to drag the dog's body out. That would have been more.
Yeah, that would have been more definitive. And we'll get to why the dog's body being missing is important later.
Yeah, that is important for cleanup at the end.
This movie is very strange.
It is.
But you're right. The movie is supposed to set up that the woman was an entity and she was a manifestation of Ramona's mind. And she wasn't technically physically there, but she physically does things. So she had to be physically somewhere. Like she's in a chair. The kids see her. She moves.
Yeah.
She turns into a shadow. She knock junk over. She grabs one of the kids by the leg.
Her powers are that she can move things and interact
she picks up
with
a
things
knife.
as long as she can use her shadow.
Yes, so she needs sunlight to work. She's like a plant.
Right.
Essentially. But the kids have a flash. In the later scenes, the kids use a flashlight. So she makes it her way up to the attic because of the flashlight. I'm just kind of like, it's not really dark outside yet. So a little, anyway. She's well acted though. So the acting of the woman is good. Like I mentioned earlier, we do a reveal of the veil off her face pretty quickly. She's not scary looking.
No.
There's a point
she's like Grace Jones.
She's literally Grace Jones.
Yeah, she looks like Grace Jones.
And you're just like,
Grace Jones in her front yard.
You're beautiful.
Somebody should go figure out what that's about.
I'm not scared.
Right.
Am I supposed to be scared? There is a scene where her side of her face is blown off. I guess that's supposed to represent somebody.
Ramona blowing her face off.
But
that was supposed to be foreshadowing.
But it's the side of her face. It's not like
it's bad makeup, but I think that's what it was supposed to.
It's also not under her chin, which is where we see Ramona attempting to do it at the end.
First, if she blew her head off with a shotgun, she would have no face. It wouldn't be a wound.
It wouldn't be on the side.
It's just bad makeup.
It was bad makeup. It was bad placement
like
because
that's a handgun wound.
Right. And also because at the end when Ramona's having a struggle to do it or not to do it, she puts the gun under her chin. So I don't know how the chin and the side of her face, I don't, anywho.
Because they're not the same person.
It don't make sense. They're not the
same person.
But acting wise, well acted. Yeah. That is as much as I can say because the character is real but not real. We don't know. She does things, she don't do things. I don't know. So yeah. That's my notes on the woman.
Acting wise, she was well acted.
Yeah.
I didn't think she was very scary because she was gorgeous, but I did think she was kind of haunting when she had the veil on, and her line delivery was very good.
Now, I will say when she popped up, there are scenes where she just kind of pops up in a corner. That was kind of jump scary.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool. That was fine, but the woman is not scary in this instance at all.
Yeah, we get one scene where she leaves the chair for like a jump scare moment when the son's in the shed trying to start the car.
And she like walks past the window.
Yeah, you can see her moving past the window, but it turned out to be Ramona.
Oh, you're right.
So maybe that was supposed to be an implication that it was Ramona the whole time. It
wasn't.
Oh. It wasn't.
It couldn't have been.
No. That was me giving them a bone. It wasn't. They didn't think of that.
Because there's things that Ramona, they're in two different places at the same time, and Ramona's inside and the woman's outside, and she's doing things from the outside, but Ramona's standing on the inside, and you're like, you can't be the same person.
You can't write a story one way and then write a different ending and being like, this is what it meant the whole time.
I think they were writing two stories at the same time.
I think like you said, somebody said they wrote themselves into a corner.
Yeah.
And then
they try to clean it up at the end.
So
it feels a little bit like that. So I have David, the husband, here. We don't see much of David. He's dead.
He's a builder. They married each other. They were going to move out to the countryside and build a house. They bought a fixer-upper, and he died before he could complete the work.
He seems like a nice guy.
He really wanted a family, the farm and the family, and she did not. So,
right.
And he knew that she wanted to leave before he died.
Right, because they have a bit of an argument at a restaurant when they went out to dinner, and she said that he knew that something wasn't right.
And so he was aware that she wanted to leave him and the kids.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. And then they immediately get into a car accident.
And die. So, he dies.
R.I.P. David.
Yeah.
That's all we got to say about David.
Peyton Jackson, and I guess we can talk about the kids.
I was going to say, let's just pair the kids together. Peyton and Annie are the daughter.
Taylor and Annie.
Oh, Peyton is his real name. Taylor and Annie are the kids. Taylor is a very annoying teenager, and he was grating my nerves. There is a moment at the beginning of the movie where he makes breakfast, and I'm like, oh, that's really nice. He makes breakfast for his sister, and then I guess when mom doesn't seem to come out of the room very often, but when she comes down, he sets up a plate for her. He put Doritos and the eggs. And it's supposed to be like, oh, that's cute and that's funny. And I was like, no, that's disgusting.
I mean, they ain't got nothing else to eat.
And Taylor know that. You ain't got to put Doritos in the eggs. Anyway, I guess it's what the kids do. But he does things over and over that literally grate his mama's nerves.
Yeah.
And it was grating my nerves. Like he tosses a ball up against the wall. He calls his mother a bee. He goes outside when he's not supposed to. He feeds the dog mashed potatoes. I give him that because it wasn't no dog food. But I'm like, come on, mashed potatoes, dog. You got some rice. use the rice. Yeah. And then there was he also, when he goes to talk to the woman, I guess the woman tells him, your mother's lying to you about what happened that night. He goes back in and tells his mom, like, tell me the truth. But Ramona don't ever be like, well, why you want to know right now?
That's Ramona's fault. She should have asked more questions.
I was just kind of like, you're right. And you're right.
But also proof that they weren't the same person because he went outside and talked to somebody completely different while Ramona was locked in the house. So
and he locks his mama in the house.
Not only were they not the same person, but the woman in black, the woman in the yard was obviously real.
Right. Grabs a gun, tells the daughter, like, don't let mom out. He just take it too far. He was a perfect example of somebody who you need to tell something or he just gonna do a bunch of stupid stuff.
I mean, I felt for him a little bit because we're supposed to believe Ramona's been pent up, locked in the house for weeks.
Yeah, in her bedroom.
Power's out. And I did feel for him a little when every time Annie would get into something, Ramona would be like, you gotta watch her. It's like, this is your kid. What you mean? I mean, she's my sister and I should look after her, but like every waking moment in a parenting capacity.
That's true, because he was like making breakfast and the daughter was about to cut some cheese with a knife. But I was like, he was making breakfast. Why you get mad at him?
And you barely come downstairs. How many times has this girl cut cheese?
She probably cuts cheese all the time.
She grabbed the biggest knife with confidence. That girl cut cheese all the time.
She probably make her own grilled cheese at this point. So you're right. He was a typical teenager, but some of they didn't have to make him annoying. I just hate when they make kids annoying when they don't necessarily have to prove a point. And then Annie, I was fine with the daughter.
She didn't do a lot.
She was a typical scared 8-year-old.
She was very young. She was just there to be scared.
She was there to be a daughter.
She was just there to be scared.
Yeah,
to be a little scared little girl.
Yeah, that you need to protect and save.
They didn't give her very much to do at
all. They didn't, which is fine. I'm glad they didn't make her annoying either, because I can't do 2 annoying kids. One is enough.
All right, likes and dislikes.
Let me pull up my notes for that. I already said that Daniel and Oakley were good. As far as the acting, the sound design was pretty good. Yeah, I will give them using the music to build up the tension, because whenever the woman showed up out of the blue, they would have like some sound effect or some music behind it. And I'm like, okay, she here. I hear it. And then I did appreciate the little twist that it come to find out it wasn't a perfectly happy family. So that was a little something I wasn't expected, that Ramona was ready to go.
She ain't like kids.
They don't say that explicitly.
She's Christina Yang.
Ramona was ready to go, and I was not expecting that, because the movie sets up like she really misses her husband because she's playing the videos. It does set up that, when she does yell at her kids or something, she does apologize and she tries to be, I'm sorry I did this, that, and the third. But I was not expecting her to be like, yeah, we was going out to dinner, I telling him I was wanted a divorce. Yeah. So I did appreciate the little bit of something I didn't see coming. Those are my likes. Dislike, we already talked about it. The ending should have been definitive. Pick something, and I already said I wasn't a fan of the son. So I kind of hit my dislikes already. Yeah. What you got?
So I like the set. I like the movies that take place in one place.
Oh, they did that very good.
So I think they used the space very good. I mean, it was a big house. I mean, we only spent time in like 2 rooms, like the kitchen and the living room, and then the base,
pretty much,
and then the attic.
In the yard.
So just like, in the yard.
So yard. We kept going back out to the yard.
So, but I like the fact that it all took place in one house. I like the setting.
Yeah.
As far as the acting, to piggyback off so Danielle and Oakley did a very good job with the acting.
Yep.
Oh, and I like the effects on the woman when she used her shadow powers. Kind of reminded me of the storytelling of the Deathly Hallows.
It did. You said Dementors.
Yeah, she looked like a Dementor too.
I agree.
When she would float around with the veil on.
It was pretty. That was actually kind of creepy, scary. The shadow thing, because she moved kind of like a.
Her shadow moved twitchy.
Yes.
But she in the regular world moved fine.
Her shadow was a little ghoulish.
Yeah.
So that
it was like thinner and stuff than she was.
Yeah. It was given. This is funny. You haven't seen this. The Princess and the Frog. There is a character who has a shadow that operates on its own. It kind of reminded me of that because the shadow was a little more scrawny and squiggly and creepy.
But that does get into my dislikes. I wish they would have used her shadow powers more. She didn't use them that often.
No.
She didn't use them until she got active.
In the last 30 minutes.
In the last 30 minutes when the son went out to confront her.
20 minutes.
Yeah. That was the first time she really used her started using her shadow powers for anything.
Yeah, because we see the shadow when she's sitting in the chair. We see the shadow move and like, oh, snap, the shadow going to do something. But it don't do nothing until towards the end.
And then she starts throwing the temper tantrum in the house and knocking stuff over. And I'm just like, okay, well, I mean.
Why?
You could have been doing this the whole movie.
There's been
shadows in the house all day.
They could have bumped up her action further.
They could have gave her more to do.
Yeah.
They could have. I mean, she was clearly like in the yard, but they could have let her do more shadow stuff earlier in the film. She could have been terrorizing them for longer. The
creepiest thing she kind of does in the beginning is her chair gets closer and closer.
Yeah.
I actually thought the chair was going to be like up on a window. That would have been hilarious because she's like in the yard.
Or on the porch.
And then she's like a little closer. Or on the porch. And then she's like a little closer. And I was like, they need to make her to where they open up that window and that heifer just sitting in the window like, hello. But they didn't do that.
I thought the car crash reveal was kind of whack.
Okay.
She wasn't drunk and she didn't do it on purpose. So
I thought they was going there.
I thought the whole point of the buildup was that she either did it on purpose or she was drunk or she did something. She made a foolish decision that caused the accident. I mean, it just seemed like a regular accident.
Yeah. It was raining really bad. You couldn't see and it was dark.
Yeah.
So it was just a regular accident.
I mean, a fatal.
Yeah, I really thought they were going with she did it on purpose, and that would have added a little more punch because that would have lined up with the whole suicide situation.
Because in the reveal is that he died in a fatal car accident, like unfortunately many other people do die in fatal car accidents, head-on collision. It wasn't because she went out of her way to ensure that happened. So I thought that reveal was kind of whack because it wasn't really like, okay, so we're supposed to be upset with you about this,
and we weren't
because
the son is mad because the original story is the dad was driving.
Yeah, and
the real story was she was driving. It was like it don't.
And that was my note. Like, she lied about who was driving, but it was a vehicle accident. Who cares?
Right. She wasn't driving drunk, and she didn't do it on purpose.
If she was in the passenger seat and she had died, would you be having this conversation with your dad? Like, we're in the same place.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
You're right.
So they should have did something with that.
They
should have made a decision.
They should have made it to where she did it on purpose.
Yeah.
My opinion.
And that is all the dislikes I have before we get into the ending.
All right, let's hit the ending. So Jay kind of alluded to this earlier. So I'm gonna skip all this other stuff. The very ending is that the woman and Ramona are the same person.
Yeah.
Supposed to be. And she is a manifestation of her mind. The strength that she's praying for is the strength to take herself out.
Mm-hmm.
And we get a scene of Ramona says she wants to say goodbye to her kids. So the ghost or the woman,
Before that, though.
Before that, they have a moment where they're sitting on the bed and Ramona's kind of like, the woman is telling her, I'm actually here to help you. Like, do it. Mm-hmm. And today is the day that you want to do it.
Yeah.
So the woman actually takes a lighter up to the pictures that are hanging on the wall, and
she's like, what'll happen to my kids if I kill myself?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So she uses a lighter and does a little magic trick, and we see the pictures of the kids transform into what the kids look like when they're older. Mm-hmm. So they're like married. One's like, we see 21st birthday balloons. We see graduation pictures. We basically see the kids in the future via pictures. So that's supposed to tell Ramona, your kids will be fine.
They're happier. Better off, actually. Better off because you're dead. And because she says they'll only be fine if you set them free, which means you living is some type of prison.
And this is when I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
I don't like this.
I don't like that.
I don't like this because like you said, it sets up that, oh yeah, your kids will be good as soon as you get rid of yourself.
As soon as you're dead, your kids will have great lives.
And I was just like,
they won't thrive because you're here.
No.
This is not like that.
This is not what we're doing, right? But it is what we're doing.
Yeah.
So she says she wants to say goodbye to her kids. She goes to tell the kids not goodbye or not even like a subtle goodbye.
And to be clear, for anybody listening, this is not supposed to. I'm sure the writers want you to think this is actually Ramona having a conversation with herself. No, she's having a conversation with an entity, a separate entity that exists outside of her mind that she conjured.
Right.
Because the kids are aware of who she is and she's killed the dog.
Right. And the chickens.
She's affected things in the real world.
And she knocked over stuff.
So she's not a hallucination.
And they actually have Ramona sitting on her bed in front of a mirror, and we only see Ramona, right? We don't see the woman in a reflection. I'm like,
spirits don't have reflections.
Exactly. I was like, I'm not convinced.
Yeah, nope.
I'm not convinced.
Neither did Nosferatu.
Also, if it was, how would Ramona have seen her kids in the future? Like the
maybe her mind hallucinated it, but that doesn't explain the woman's actions throughout the rest of the movie.
You're right.
This is after she's terrorized him in the attic.
You're right. And she like shook the door and everything.
Yeah.
Anywho, she goes to say goodbye to her kids, but it's not an actual goodbye. She basically just tells the kids to go to the neighbor's house, which she should have told the kids and herself 45 minutes prior. So the kids are like, we don't want to go without you. And they're like, no. She's like, no, it'll be for the best. And I'm like, no, you want to tell your kid. This is not how you say goodbye to your kids.
Yeah, and that was stupid. The whole I want to say goodbye. That was the moment to have the emotional. She hadn't been nice to her kids the whole movie, and neither was she nice to her kids in her goodbye. And that leads credence to the fact that I don't think she liked them kids in the very beginning because her goodbye was trash.
It was not a very good goodbye. She just shoos them off to the neighbors.
This is the moment where you have the emotional goodbye. I'm sorry for the way I've been acting.
Right.
Take the lessons that I've learned, that I've taught you.
None of that.
Blah blah blah. Go on and be successful. She just more like, go on and get out the house, y'all. I gotta blow my face off. I ain't got all day.
That line actually comes up. Shoos the kids off. The kids walk 2 miles to the neighbor's house in the dark. At this point, it's dark now. Goes into the shed where the chair now is.
Because the chair was in the attic first.
Oh, right. The chair was in the attic. Yeah. So somehow the chair moved downstairs
it was always
into the garage.
Because the chair was hers.
It's a family heirloom or something. She sits in a chair, and then we have this very awkward, disturbing struggle of the woman and Ramona. The woman is assisting Ramona with the gun.
Because she seems like she doesn't want to do it.
Ramona is very She's like, I'm not quite sure I want to do this. But the woman is like, yeah, you do. Today's the day.
Yeah.
So she's like positioning the gun and moving her hands and getting her to put the finger on the trigger. And she's like, the reason why you only left one bullet in this was because, you were going to use it to take yourself out. I was like, you don't really need to throw away the rest of the bullets to do that. But anyway, and it's just
what if there was a coyote? You're out there and you threw away all your bullets.
That didn't make no sense.
No.
That didn't make no sense. So we get this it's supposed to be a quote unquote internal struggle.
Yeah.
Because, this is actually Ramona doing this. So she sets the gun up. It's all in place. It's very awkward because Ramona's shaking because it seems like she don't want to do it. And the woman eventually absorbs into Ramona. And that's supposed to be like, see guys, they're the same person.
The ending of this movie is the ending to a completely different movie than the movie that started.
So we get Ramona. She's got the gun in place under her chin. She looks over to see the stuffed animal that her daughter gave her before she shooed him away. And then we cut to a window. And the next thing we see is the kids coming back.
Flashlight, because the son and the daughter are running back.
And we see Ramona getting up, coming out of the barn. And the son is like, what if she comes back? And Ramona's like, if she does, we'll deal with her.
We'll be ready next time.
So we're like, oh. So she ain't kill herself. But then as we're moving along, we see the sign for the farm. Now, mind you, the whole movie, they reminded us that the farm don't have no name.
Yeah, she didn't want to be there.
The husband wanted to name the farm. She didn't. But now the farm's got a cute little perfect sign with a name on it.
And even in the hallucination, because people are like, oh, well, the sign could have been there the whole time. We just didn't see it.
No, they purposely showed us.
Even in the hallucination in the end, when she goes in the mirror direction and he asks her to name the farm, she still says she doesn't know.
She doesn't have I thought she was going to have a name.
The farm did not have a name.
The farm doesn't have a name, but now that we are at the end of the movie and Ramona's decided she want to live, she don't shoot herself.
A name and a sign.
It's got a name and a sign that looks like it just got delivered from Etsy and hanging up. And then we get the lights back on. The power comes back on. The kids and Ramona are running into the house.
The front of the house is fixed up nice.
It looks like it's just been cleaned.
The stairs look like they were just freshly done.
Painted.
And front of the house looks freshly painted.
And then come the dog. The dog come barking from wherever he at.
The dog who's been gone all day.
Ain't seen his body. As I said, if you ain't seen the body, maybe they ain't dead. But anywho, the dog come back. Everybody goes back into the house, and everybody's ha-ha, hee-hee, keying. We're all good. Ramona's alive. The kid's alive. The dog's alive. The farm got a sign. And then we see a picture of that Ramona painted. We don't know when she painted this because we ain't seen this picture. And the R, her signature, the R is backwards. Now, through the whole movie, the daughter's been doing R's backwards, and we're supposed to be in the mirror dimension. And that's supposed to be our cue, or something is supposed to be our cue that, oh, wait a minute. Ramona is actually trapped in the mirror dimension, and she actually did off herself, and everything we just saw was a dream.
That wasn't it, though. It didn't dawn on me till later thinking about it. The inside of the house was fixed up, too.
Was it?
Yeah, the inside of the house. None of the insides of the house was good. throughout the whole movie.
It definitely looked like it needed work.
The living room was kind of decorated, but it all looked like it needed work. The interior of the house where that picture was all done up nice.
Most people seem to be leaning towards when Ramona walks out of the barn, she is actually dead.
Yeah, she's in the afterlife.
She has killed herself, and everything we are seeing is now the afterlife and things that she's making up. The other school of thought is, no, she actually did survive, because when she comes out of the barn, she says, her son asked her, what if she comes back? And she's like, if she comes back, then we'll deal with her together. And it's like, well, why would you say that if you're dead?
Yeah. So
some people think that the family is all dead. They've been dead the whole time, and this is just purgatory. That's another school of thought. Some people think that she has been dead, but the kids are still alive. Some people think the husband is actually alive. My biggest thing was, if she is dead, where the husband at? Wouldn't she imagine her husband where she at? With the kids?
That is because
if she wanted to
they did not make a decision. This is these exact train of thought of what happens when directors don't make a decision on the ending.
Ending is
they
confusing.
Not commit because they refuse to pick a direction to go into.
If you watch this, I feel like majority think that she actually did commit suicide, and what she's seeing is like the afterlife. But I don't get that, because her afterlife would have been with her husband, and her afterlife would not have been like
with the kids she hated.
Okay. If she didn't like the kids, why would she kill herself to be back with her kids?
And you see why not making a decision on your ending makes both endings dumb?
Yeah, because it's just like if she committed suicide to free her kids, why would her dream state be with the kids that she wanted to free with no husband? I didn't understand that.
And if she didn't kill herself, explain everything else.
Right. And if she did not kill herself,
explain the dog and the sign and the electricity and the house. None of it makes sense.
The ending is not conclusive.
No.
And this is not a movie that could do that.
No.
Because they did not write it that way. They did not set it up that way. And I'm sorry, but if the theme is suicide, I feel like you need to pick.
And the dog was a big dead giveaway, because they could not figure out whether or not she was gonna die or whether she was gonna live.
And we don't.
So throwing the dog in the end after it's been missing for the whole film.
Yeah, and that's why I was kind of like, we didn't see the body of the dog, but it's kind of like, but where the dog been?
The dog is not.
Did he like run away and come back?
To put the dog out, you got to chain it.
They chained the dog.
Now, even if I had a farm, you can't do this with Lulu, but I could do that with Cinnamon. I wouldn't have to chain Cinnamon to put her outside.
Well, the funny thing is, when we first see the son with the dog, he don't chain the dog up. The dog's running around.
Yeah.
So when she tells the boy to put the dog outside on the chain, I was like, wow, he was just free.
They put the dog on the chain because the woman. No. They put the dog on the chain because he threw up. Did the dog throw up before or after the woman showed up? Before. So yes. Yeah, they put the dog on the chain because the dog threw up.
But I don't know why, because previously we just saw the dog outside roaming free.
Yeah.
He was literally romping around.
It would make no sense for the dog to be gone the whole movie and come back at the end.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards she did kill herself. Yeah. But that makes me more upset, because it's just kind of like...
Because the message, they didn't do enough.
The message
because
is,
if she killed herself, the message is you should kill yourself because it sets the people around you free.
I don't like that.
See these pictures of everybody looking freer and happier because you're gone.
Right. They don't set up. I don't like that message.
No.
And that's why I was so like, maybe she is alive, but then the clues in the movie don't point to.
It's as bad as Naomi Ackie marrying Channing Tatum because he's rich and at least she gets to wipe his memories back. Even though he killed her friend.
Even though he's horribly
and he's been raping her for years.
All them people,
all of them
set up the whole thing. It was definitely one of those like it don't. So satisfying ending we did not get with this. It is inconclusive. I don't know if anybody's gonna. Maybe the directors will come out and give us a definitive ending. But I don't think they will.
How? I mean, I don't even think you can at this point.
You can't explain it.
You made such a mess of it.
Be like, yeah, that don't right. You don't even know your own movie.
Well, yeah, because I think them coming out and try to explain it, they're gonna contradict themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a director's cut that explains it.
I'm not watching it.
I won't.
That's the creepy thing. That's creepy. That's the sad thing about it is the ending is something you kind of have to see for yourself.
Yes.
But I'm not going to go back and rewatch this. And I don't.
You're right, because you was telling me that the house was like, I don't remember that, but I'm like, I'm not about to go watch it to find out. Sure, I believe you.
The others did it better because you can rewatch, knowing what the reveal at the end of the others that they're all dead. Mm-hmm. You can go back and rewatch that movie and see, or
that like makes sense. Sixth Sense.
They wrote it from beginning to end to imply that they were dead. You can go back and watch in The Sixth Sense. You can go back and watch it and see. Oh yeah. You can see. Oh yeah. This makes sense.
And yeah,
that doesn't work for this movie.
Right, and it's the whole part about it being in her mind or manifestation of her mind doesn't work because the kids interact with the woman.
I feel like their trick was the twist. I feel like in their mind they were like, the twist is going to be that they're both the same person, but the way we're going to trick the audience is we're going to cast two different people. Nope, that's
right, and they also look.
That's cheap. Yeah, we're going to cast two different people to not give away the fact that they're actually both Ramona.
They should have just not unveiled her face.
That's not going to work. Yeah, you should have just had Danielle Deadwyler play both parts and just kept her veiled up.
Because we see Danielle Deadwyler in the veil, like from the point of view of the woman sitting in the chair at one point of the movie, and that's your like, oh snap, it is the same person. Mm-hmm. But they look different.
I mean, I knew what Akwi looked like before I saw the movie because of marketing, and she did like an interview, but you still couldn't see her face. You couldn't make out her face in the veil.
Not when the veil was on.
So it could have been fine for Danielle Deadwyler to play both parts if that's what they were trying to do. But
yeah.
It being in her mind doesn't work because it can't be in your mind and also in your front yard affecting physical things in the real world.
Killing chickens.
And your co-stars see it.
Killing chickens.
Yeah. And everybody else is acknowledging it.
Right. And taking the air out of tires for cars you're not using. Yeah. I don't know why she did that either.
In Fight Club, going back, it makes sense that Edward Norton and Brad Pitt were in the same place because they were in the same place. And when people were talking to Edward, the only time people were ever talking to Brad Pitt, Edward Norton was there. Right. Nobody ever had a conversation with Brad Pitt in private.
Yeah, it just, man.
And the boy did have a conversation with the woman in the yard.
A whole I mean, it's literally a whole that's when he comes back into the house and asks his mom, like, yo, what's going on? Because the woman in the yard told me something different. Yeah. Interesting. So, but do you have a favorite line or scene?
I don't have a favorite line. I guess my favorite scene is when she had a conversation with the son, because that was the first time she like stood up and talked and we got a face reveal.
I agree with that because that was unexpected because she was literally just standing there like, yo, what up? And I was like, oh, she's moved. Yeah. And she's unveiled. Yeah. So yeah, that would be my favorite scene as well. Yeah. Any other random notes?
Random notes. Yes. So I don't know why she kept the car.
Oh, the car from the accident.
I mean, even grieving, that doesn't make. I mean, maybe.
Yeah, she definitely had that
people
thing.
Do strange things, but I know. God.
She had it towed back from the accident and just sitting on the property, haphazardly covered with a sheet or a tarp.
I don't need that. Y'all can take that.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It was given Never Let Go.
A little bit
in the beginning. Okay. Especially when after the woman in the yard finally showed up and she was being very. She wasn't giving away the details about what was going on, and she was clearly in the know. Yeah. So, and it was frustrating in that way because the kids and the mom were frustrating and Never Let Go.
I like the younger kid. He was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, like one of the kids. Yeah. But I didn't need to see her pick her wound.
That resulted in nothing.
It resulted in nothing.
There's a couple scenes where she's like hallucinating, I guess. Like we think she's stabbing her daughter, but she's actually stabbing a pillow, but she's actually not stabbing a pillow. She's picking a wound, but then she's actually not picking the wound.
I saw some people saying that it's supposed to imply that she's crazy. And the son had dropped a line saying that when she threw the basket at the son, he made a comment about the crew not taking her crazy pills or something. I feel like that's the audience, and you as a viewer doing a lot of heavy lifting for them. They didn't have enough to imply that.
I didn't even realize that I remembered that she had medicine, but I was like, oh, did she not take it? They did enough to indicate that she was clearly grieving, and she had physical wounds, but they did not do enough to imply that she had a mental health issue outside of just grief. True, and it could have been implied her pain pills were for her pain because she was literally in a leg brace. So, and she had an open wound.
That's how that works. So they did enough to show that she was grieving. They didn't do enough to set up that she was like paranoid schizophrenic. And I think that's what people took away from that. And
we got to make up the holes
because you're injecting your own magic.
We got to fill the holes with something in this storyline.
Product placement: Hims Lotion and Pattern Beauty.
Hey, shout out to Pattern Beauty.
Hey, everybody's braids was looking fresh.
Okay, I like
together.
I like the natural hair in the movie.
Curl pattern was nice.
That was cool.
I didn't think the little girl seemed scared at all.
She tried.
She just didn't seem scared.
Poor little girl tried. I think that might have just been an acting thing. She was cute, and she wasn't like, I'm glad she wasn't like an annoying little girl. Yeah, she was kind of like, oh, it's a woman outside.
Yeah, like when there's a scene when Ramona is telling the son about the truth about the accident, and the daughter's off in a different room inspecting noises. Yeah. She didn't seem scared, even though she's scared because there's a woman outside, but she didn't seem scared about the fact that you're on your own in a house hearing strange noises. You're clutching this
and
penguin.
Things are moving.
The fear factor wasn't hitting for me, but it's fine. She's a child actor.
She was a child. She got some polishing to do. That's all.
How could she have been both the whole time? She wasn't. That was just a random note that I had while I was watching the movie. She never wanted to be a mother. That was my note when I made that note during the goodbye scene.
You were the first one I've seen. I've been reading like some reactions on. I think you were the first person I've seen say that. I can't discount it.
She was ready to leave her husband and her kids. She said, "Well, let's figure out a way for me to get out."
And he was like, "This is a us thing," and she was just like, "Sure, that's what you think."
Yeah,
be out here in the middle of the night. Yeah. One of my random notes is, how was she planning to solve anything with no car and no phone? And why does the car not work? They literally had nothing in the middle of a farm. They didn't explain
why the Jeep didn't work.
The battery was dead. The car didn't start up. I was like, how are y'all getting food out here? Yeah. But I understand, but you are literally raising 2 kids who need to eat.
I mean, but she wasn't planning to raise them.
She sent them in school?
She wasn't planning to raise them. She was planning to blow her face off. So she didn't prioritize the grocery list because there aren't supposed to be groceries.
Yeah, because she said add it to the list. I'm like, well, what else is on the list? Because clearly nobody's going to go fulfill it.
She's on the list.
She was on her own list.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a crazy thing to do in a horror movie, in my person, and not resolve it.
Yeah, I mean.
And not build it up to, and not give a trigger warning.
Yeah.
It just was just like, oh, is this what we about to do?
Yeah. Smile does the same thing, but Smile gets away with it because it's not you killing yourself because you want to, and it's a supernatural entity,
that's harvesting on like people
that possesses you and makes you. It's more murder than it's suicide. Okay. It actually is murder. So it's actual murder.
Okay. Right, and that's a host like this one, a separate entity.
Yeah.
Got you. So. All right, so that's all of our review and our random notes. Do we want to give a rating now? We should Nicole Kidman's on this.
I'll give this 2 Nicole Kidman's. Yeah.
I
had writing issues. I had some acting issues. I had big issues with how the plot was handled and that ending. My 2 pluses are for the acting.
Okay.
Danielle Detweiler.
Okay.
And Akwi.
Yeah.
And I think the setting. I like the setting.
Okay.
Like the farm, countryside, single house.
I'm gonna match your 2.
Yeah.
For everything you said.
Yeah.
I was gonna give it 2.5, but then I chew on it and I'm like, what's the difference? 2.5, and I didn't like it.
You gave Blink twice a 2.
Did I?
Yeah.
Fair. Then this fits.
Yeah.
I gave Opus a 2. I think we both gave Opus a 2 too.
Yeah.
Dang it. You know what? You know what makes me mad about that? All 3 of those movies have black female leads, and it makes me.
And we were anticipating them.
And we were anticipating all 3, and it makes me upset that I didn't enjoy those. No. I just, I'm not gonna go on that soapbox, but I you know what? I'm glad I gave it my dollars. All 3 of those movies. I'm glad I gave it my dollars.
And it looks like it'll make its money back.
And some people are enjoying this. Some people say they love this.
Yeah.
So we just not them people.
Some people said they love it. So
yeah.
And maybe.
Some people like Opus.
Maybe this is something that some people absolutely should not see because of the subject matter, but maybe this is a story that somebody may need to see. Because I guess you can look at it as it's an awful way to handle the subject matter, or you can also, if you lean towards the more positive ending, you can take away the positive aspects from that ending.
And they do flash. I saw somebody who said they actually didn't like that. That they do put up the suicide hotline.
Yeah, that was me.
Well, they didn't do it right at the end. They like played the credits for a couple minutes and then they flashed. I was like, nobody's staying this long.
I think it was inappropriate to show that after that ending.
Okay.
After the scene.
After you didn't like definitively say one way or the other.
After not definitively saying one way or the other, and then after having the whole long drawn out scene of seeing this is what everybody's life will look like after you kill yourself, I think it was really responsible to put that. If you know by the way, if you know somebody, we just put you through this trauma.
Yeah.
By the way, if you know somebody who also might be who might remind you of Ramona, give them a line to call. Thanks for coming to see our movie, though.
Right, because it was literally after a couple runs of the credits, and I was like, y'all know nobody. This is not an Avengers movie. We not staying till after the credits.
Yeah. Why
would you? The placement was strange.
It glorified suicide a little. It did. And you don't get to glorify it and then say, by the way,
here's some help.
Here's some resources in case you're harmed by our film. So
I
don't like that.
Yeah,
that's tacky.
Dang it. I don't like when I don't like movies sometimes. Yeah. Like sometimes I don't like a movie and I know I wasn't going to like it, but it's just fun to talk about it. And this time I'm like, God dang it, I actually wanted to like this movie. So that is our review for A Woman in the Yard. If you go check it out, let us know.
Yeah.
Like, you might like this.
Some people did.
You might have a different theory of why the ending sucked than we did. Yeah. Please share.
46% of audiences liked it.
But yeah, which is better than 40.
Yeah.
Better than 30.
Yeah, it's almost half.
Better than 0.
It's divisive, if anything.
It is.
Yeah.
I will give you that. It is divisive. And sometimes that's not bad.
No.
Maybe. If your movie make your money back, it's not bad.
All right, so that is our review for The Woman in the Yard. What are we watching next week?
We're seeing another movie that also don't have great reviews that we was anticipating. The Death of a Unicorn.
Yeah.
It's also the heck is going on? I might have to go watch when is Captain America coming on Steelbook? I need to watch something recent that was like good. What's going on?
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see in Death of a Unicorn. I don't know. I'm going in.
It's a comedy, so
I'm going in with tempered expectations.
As long as it's funny. That's the only thing I care about. And I am hearing that it's funny.
Okay.
So that's the only thing I'm expecting. I want a Paul Rudd comedy, Will Poulter, Téa Leoni. They're all funny. They've all done funny roles.
I'm going to go in with tempered expectations. Yeah. And that way I'll probably be okay.
And it's unserious. It's unicorns.
Right. And it's kind of like a comedy horror.
It kind of feels like Mars Attacks.
Which is more of my horror anyway. So I ain't got to worry about not sleeping at night.
Yeah.
It's a plus. Already one Nicole Kidman there. All right. So thanks for listening. If you like our show, please give it a share. You can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on our website, vaguelynerdypodcast.com, where you can also leave us a voice message, which we will play on the show if it's nice. If it's not, I will find you on LinkedIn and tell your boss. But if you're not leaving a nice review, if you're going to leave us a nice review, make sure you follow us on Threads and IG at Vaguely Nerdy Podcast. We are on Blue Sky and the Bird app, Twitter, at Vaguely Nerdy Pod for now. Or is it still called? I don't know. It's mama call it Twitter. I'm still calling it Twitter.
It's going to be called Skynet soon.
It is Skynet. It's literally Skynet.
Brother Eye.
Right. Oh, why does that sound like a perfect name for Twitter?
Because that's the name of the Ultron version in the DC universe.
Certain people use the term brother and it really grates my gears. But anyway, you can also reach a tangent. You can reach us via email at vaguelynerdypodcast@gmail.com. If you're listening to us on a podcast app, you can watch our animated show. On YouTube, we are Vaguely Nerdy Podcast and Cast. And if you want to support our show with a little monetary donation, we are also on Ko-fi.com under Vaguely Nerdy Podcast.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.